welcome everyone to Nerd TV for the Talladega 250. 4 races left in this season for the Cup Series to get this thing down to one driver to win it all for the championship. As always, my name is Jay Stan, and to my right is going to be Pashibian Neck, as always, as well.
Glad to be back
How you
here
doing
at
over there,
Talladega. High banks, get some high speeds, and speaking of that points battle, Jeremy, it's getting close.
3 points separate Richie Coy from Ryan Hedrick, the all-star rookie that's been just killing it this season against these guys. And Richie Coy's came back, though. Ryan had a terrible time through the short track stuff, and he's kind of found himself in a little pickle here to get back to where he has been all season long with Richie Coy. But I have to introduce a little Easter egg here. Above me here, just a second, I'm going to pop it up. It's going to be my producer. He's actually going to join us in the Martin Sports pre-race show. How you doing up there, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Figured I'd join you guys up here, give you a little company for this big 2.66 mile track.
Yeah, there's tons of space to fit you in, so feel free. Absolutely. How you looking over there in the points, man? Are you excited for this last 4 races?
I absolutely am. I mean, it's we got a 3-point split right now as far as the top spot, and Talladega's a wild card. Anything can happen. Everybody's got a chance to win. Jeremy, KB, you guys know me. I love plate racing. Plate ringer myself, so I always enjoy coming to these tracks, no matter how good or bad it turns out.
Oh, for sure, right? Yeah, Casey McMullen, he's 28 points back. He needs some good luck on this side, or his side rather. And Talladega, you're definitely gonna need that.
Yeah, and there's only, I think, what we count, 23 drivers that were in the race so far, so there's not much room to be gained there either because he's sitting 28 back. So even if Richie Coy goes to the last and Casey McMullen wins it, he's still not going to be up there. So could tighten it up, but it's Talladega, so you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And one thing that I'm seeing out on the track is that number 23 right now, which is a number we have not seen on the track. So I'm kind of hoping he's actually going to race tonight. Maybe give his Fury Motorsports teammates a little bit of draft and help out there on this big track. So if he does, it's definitely going to be some exciting racing for sure.
Yeah, if you're not used to him, he's in that black and blue car that's on your screen right now, that number 23 Ford Mustang. He's second fastest on the boards in this Talladega session, and I'm really hoping he joins in because he is your Daytona winner, the last super speedway race we did. So he knows a thing or two with these cars around this style of track.
Yeah, Birdie's, with these cars, what did he win? 3 of the first 4 and then backed out of it. So it'd be nice to see him back in here. And I think you're right, Dustin. I think he's going to give his teammates here a little bit of help and get the Fury Motorsports up there. Because we saw in the Xfinity race that we all ran together on Thursday with them, those 3, Tony Solari, Richie Coy, and Brody Hanna hooked up, and they were charging and leading the field pretty much the whole night.
Yeah, for somebody who says that they do not like these cars, taking 3 out of the first 4 wins, so that's always the inside joke that we have going on here. But you can't count out the rest of the field either. It's going to be a good race all the way around. I mean, you have unofficial teammates out there, may not be your official team members, but we know these drivers race with each other quite often. They're quite well-versed at it. They can pretty much pick up a teammate anywhere, so it's going to be good racing everywhere. A lot of side-by-side, and look for probably some 3-wide racing.
Yeah, it's been an excellent teamwork across the board this season. Blackwater Motorsports with the 2 Stevens and then Casey McMullen. They've collectively picked up a little more speed these past few races. And then also that Boomerang Motorsports, with Ryan Hedrick, 3 points outside the top spot now. His teammates have been coming along pretty good. Had some bad luck, but there's a lot of speed out there amongst a lot of these teams.
Yeah, definitely. The rookies, too. The rookies this year are just impressing me. I mean, you have, 4 in the top 10 in points and, 5 in the top 12. So the rookies are putting on a show this year, too.
Yeah, and Ryan Hedrick being one of those, I mean, that's a driver that is glad to be out of that short track era you guys had made mention last week. Definitely glad to be away from that to at least try to solidify something for the final remaining races of this season. So definitely look out for those rookies. But I'm like you, KB. I always enjoy a good rookie class, and I tell you what, these rookies are not disappointing.
Ooh, there goes Brody.
Yeah, rookie's he almost wrecked it up, and he saved his car.
Back on.
Almost took out the 89, it looks like, coming back up onto the racing service. So close.
Look at it, he's still going.
Pretty impressive stuff. Oh, yeah, he's already trying to wreck up the 51 here, but it's all good. This is what practice is for, right, guys? Stephen Lou Allen, who came in here and, won the dirt race last week, his first race, he is back for race number 2. So I've not seen him on this kind of surface at all. So really looking to see what kind of performance Mr. Lou Allen can put out there for everyone as well.
Yeah, I saw him out there earlier, going, with the main pack there, and he kind of sits back practice-wise, not very fast, but it's Talladega. That doesn't mean anything. Like I said, he was running mid-pack when I was watching him. So I'm interested to see what happens as well, Jeremy, because last week shows up and wins it.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he pulled a Brody Hanna last week saying that he doesn't like running on dirt and didn't really run on dirt and comes out and, I mean, just puts a class act on. So anything could happen here at Full Throttle, that is for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll also keep my eye out on Richie Coy. He's got the points lead for the first time this season, and he'd finished second last week, so he's on a really good little momentum swing here. Even though it's Talladega, that could still mentally play a huge part into one of these races to get you to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. He finished 11th here last year as well, so he's no stranger to finishing up in the top 10 here at Talladega. So looking to pull it up as we see Brody and Brandon here coming in, flying on pit roads. I don't think they're slowing down. I'm interested to see what happens with Brandon, too. Like was mentioned a couple of times the past couple of weeks, he's been really having some really good runs, really good qualifying, just not good luck once the race gets going.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And that's going to bring the end to the Martin Sports pre-race show. Thank you, Mr. Dustin, for joining us today in the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. You guys have a good one. Enjoy. Looking forward to a fantastic, awesome race. So good luck. Have fun out there.
Absolutely. You too, man. And with that being said, as always, we need to give time to the people that allow us to do this every Monday and Wednesday night for you guys at Full Throttle Sim Racing. So, first and foremost, the league themselves. We're 3 weeks away for the rest of the series. We're going to go on a little short 1 or 2 week break, and then they're going to be back at you at a fresh new seasons. So if you're looking to participate in a league, this is now your time to sign up at FTSR.net. If you're wanting to do the points complete up, these guys are willing to talk to you. And once again, it's FTSR.net. And then we have Sim Racing Points, the official series sponsor of the Truck Series that you catch on Wednesdays. And it's also that all-inclusive league points management system that allows you to upload all the results with a simple click. Allows you for custom-created widgets on your website. And it's just a super simple software to use, if you're trying to manage everything points and results related for your drivers, for the admins. You're going to go to simracingpoints.com, check out their price plans. Awesome product for any admin looking to keep organized. And then thank you to Martin Sports, home of the sim gloves and all of sim racing. They're the official apparel provider of Nerditudes. They make customized t-shirts, hoodies, and hats. And their shirts, when they're customized, they're the full sublimated printing. It's not just like a standard cotton shirt. Like you can get a full jersey style print with whatever you want on it. And it has the fastest turnaround in the business. So go to martinsports906.com. Use promo code SUPERNERD for 25% off everything that you order. And then thank you to iRacing iFlag, the official flag partner of Nerditudes. It's the caution indication system that any driver needs to stay focused on the racing surface. It's a little 4x6 3D printed unit that goes on your desk. Really bright LEDs that, like I said, just keeps you in the action. You know exactly what's going on around the track around you at all times. I'm going to go to iRacingIFlag.com. Use promo code SUPERNERD at checkout for 15% off of his products. Then we have the Butt Kicker, the official audio enhancement provider of Nerditudes, especially with the Nerditudes being the home of the Gamer 2 unit. That's the standard in all of sim racing. If you want that real-life haptic feedback from the racing surface back into your chair, second to none, makes you feel like you're actually at the racetrack. And you're going to need it to bring your peak performance out no matter what car you're racing. And you're going to go to thebuttkicker.com, promo code NerdTV for 20% off of everything that goes in your shopping cart. And then quick thank you to the official energy partner for Nerditudes, none other than Nerd Focus. That's going to be nerdfocus.com. Use Super Nerd at checkout, 10% off. And that's one of two flavors. You can do the green, which is sugar, and the blue label, which is sugar-free. Both are super tasty and delicious. Once again, it's nerdfocus.com. And then thank you to Moonlight Speed Concepts, the official asphalt setup provider for our Nerditudes. Professional-like setups at a really good price point. You're going to go to their website, moonlightspeed.com, or find them on Twitter and get signed up and see what you can do to get yourself back into victory lane. And then on the flip side, we're going to go to the dirt setups, and that's none other than House of Speed, houseofspeed.us, also professional-like setups on the dirt side to get you in the victory lane. Thank you guys for those. All the support that you bring to Nerditudes and over at Full Throttle Sim Racing. And Ken, we got about 30 seconds left in qualifying. Looks like we have a different pulse there this time than what we've seen all year.
Yeah, it looks like Brian Bliss might be taking this one from him. Tony Solar going to be on the outside as far as they sit right now. Pretty good close qualifying runs there by the top three. So it'd be pretty nice to see Brian Bliss pull this off. And looks like Brody Hanna did make a lap. So we might be seeing him out there again.
A really slow lap, but a lap for sure. And I'm also looking at these times. I actually expected them to be a lot closer, really, than because they're all single file one car laps, right? So you in theory would be all within a tenth or two, but these guys are, the top 2 or 3 are within a tenth, and then they space out pretty good. Brody Hanna at a 54.3 over the pole sitters 53.8. That's a half a second difference there for just a qualifying lap.
Yeah, I was surprised at that as well, kind of seeing how they spread out because those top 3 were pretty close, and then after that, kind of jumped away from everybody. But we'll see how it kind of turns out. And you see Brody starting, we're talking about the Street Motorsports, they're starting 13th, 6th, and 2nd. So I'd imagine that they're going to try to move their way together pretty quick too. So, but I think we're getting ready to get on grid. Jeremy, kind of want to go through the grid here? Yep,
we're going to go through the starting order for tonight's Talladega 250 presented by Sim Racing Points. Spot at a 53.828. Second place will be Tony Solari. Third place will be Gil Gawk. Fourth place, Chuck Sweeting. And starting row number 3 is going to be Wayne Grassy in 5th, and then Richie Coy on his outside at 6th. Row 4, you're going to find Brandon Elder. Into his outside in 8th will be Steve Loomis. 9th place will be Sherwood Williford, and to round out the top 10 will be Josh Johnson.
And 11th is going to be newcomer that won last week, Stephen Wu Allen. 12th is Brian Dublé. 13th, Brody Hanna. 14th is going to be Ryan Hedrick. 15th is James Wallace. 16th is going to be Super Matty Watkins. 17th is Kevin Rupert. 18th is going to be Wayne Allen. Rolling off 19th, Casey McMullen. 20th is going to be Kenneth Schultz. 21st is Shane Pepawa. 22nd, Chris Beck. And round out the field in 23rd is going to be Rob Shoemaker.
Brody Hanna is on the racing surface. We are going to see this guy return to action for the first time in probably 2 months, if my counting's correct. Really excited to see him on the racing surface tonight.
I'm going to go out there and make a prediction that he's going to bring it home for his 4th win tonight. But at the same time, in all honesty, I think he might be out here to help push Richie and Tony, but probably more so Richie, helping with that points lead. And I could see him pushing him to a win if he gets the opportunity.
Yeah, strength in numbers at Talladega, and Brody knows that, and that's probably why he's here. Typically doesn't run these cars. He's not a big fan. He's been open to us and many others about it. But when it comes to these plate races, he is 1 for 1 this season. He kind of knows a thing or two. I'm sure he's really looking to do 2 for 2. And if you're going to watch a race, just like Wednesday, you're going to expect a lot of good action early, and then a lot of, just kind of waited out type of situation. And then the ending gets pretty crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of shook up there on Wednesdays in the truck series like that. And kind of a quick mention here, I was listening to Bernie Hannon driver meeting. He was reminding everyone about the pit stalls, not driving through too many pit stalls because we had a lot of penalties on Wednesday. So he was kind of reminding everybody. As we see, look at the green flag. He's already got it ready, Jeremy.
Late Larry, he's premature Larry at the same. I don't even know what to call him at this point. He's just all over the map, but. Those penalties, if you watch the real life race on, yesterday, Brad Keselowski struck for speeding both times on green flag scenarios. But it looks like we are green flag. Brian Bliss takes the way with a good jump there, but Tony Solari on his outside is going to get early push from Chuck Sweeting entering 1.
Yeah, Brian Bliss with a good start, but yeah, you see Tony Solari and Chuck Sweeting going to have that awesome car as we're pushing Tony Solari on the high side. We know how the high side momentum's been working this past week, Jeremy, as we've been racing Talladega ourselves.
Yeah, that outside seems to be getting better and better for whatever reason, and Brody Handy dips down early, kills the blue cone. I don't
Someone
know
else
what
killed it the other way.
Yeah, like, I don't know what that cone was even. He didn't do anything wrong. He was just sitting there. That cone's done for. Early damage to his nose. I'm just kidding. I'm sure Brody's just jumping back there for just, keeping it safe. And, his teammates are up front, so I'm not too sure what's going on.
Yeah, he might be waiting for something. But, yeah, he jumped down there pretty quick, and then Shane let him back up in line. And I'm not sure what happened there. But we see him a little jumbled up here as we're coming across the start-finish on lap 1. And I think we're going to have coming across on this one. Looks like, did Tony take that? Yep, Tony took that lap right there. So I already have a lead change, and I'm waiting for those two, Tony and Richie, to start teaming up here.
Yeah, from what we have gathered this week, the best thing for if your teammates that are side by side like this, controlling the front or the top and bottom rather, the top guy or the bottom guy rather checks up a little bit, just like this, allows the 11 to drop down, and then 19 can suck right in, and they're going to be 2 cars to the good. And then whenever Brody gets up there, if they can kind of keep that situation going, that's what I think that's the way how to get your teammates together.
Yeah, and Brody, he's back there with that pack, and they kind of separated from this lead pack. There was about 7 or 8 of them that they're trying to get single file to catch back up and get back up here. And I kind of saw also at the very end, you saw Lane Allen kind of come down here on lap 1, and I saw him swerve down. I didn't see what happened, but looking back at the replay, James Wallace actually collected a little bit of damage of that on his right front hood fender area there with the front bumper from him coming down. So that's why we see James Wallace kind of dropping back.
Okay, yeah, that definitely explained a little bit, and it has popped up on the right side just a touch, and it looks like he might be just losing the draft as that number 2 of Rob Shoemaker is probably just over a second at this point, and I think he's going to have to wait until a pack can push him up there or wait for an early caution.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that one, and as we still see you got Richie Coy and Tony Solari here, but the front Chuck Sweeting's trying to make the side draft work and get a little bit of momentum with that high side, but they're 3 wide back there as well. I think that's going to be the 17 of Steve Loomis there up on the high side. Looks like Brandon Elder and Super Matty Watkins are going to try and jump up there as well.
Yeah, it does look like it's still 3 wide entering turn number 1 here. Pretty good stuff early on. But running it clean, they're giving each other a lot of space. These are 2x2 now all the way through, getting to the back stretch. Tons of space though. This track, you can go 5 or 6 wide technically. Of course, you don't want to do that in race scenario, but being 3 wide at Talladega is not the hardest thing to do, but it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, it helps with those white lines. I mean, like you said, you can go 5 wide if you prefer, but you can definitely make 3 fit no problem. So as long as everyone kind of holds a steady line, that's no issues there. But as we kind of saw this on Wednesday, Jeremy, where that bottom row kind of single filed out and that top row would die out and then the top row would get a run. But right now we're seeing all but 3 up on that bottom side.
Yeah, that top side, once you get a few good cars up there, you just, for some reason, especially these next gens, you don't choke out. You get a good amount of side draft, and then the launch off the corners kind of propels you. As long as you got a good drafting partner, that's all that matters. If you're given space, if these next gens have that big bubble, you kind of have to fight through it. But if you can have that bubble 2 or 3 cars deep, it puts on a pretty good show.
And you said the momentum, if you can get it off the turning. We saw it right here, as you see on Nerton TV right here. They had a great run coming off the turn 2, and I mean, they're passing 5, 6 cars still coming up. Let's see if they get a run here. I mean, they're making their way in. They're picking up numbers. You got Lou Allen that just jumped into 24. He jumped up to the outside, so now they're going to have 4 up there. And it looks like Casey McMullen even further back's trying to make his way up.
Yeah, he's got a few cars to pass before he gets there. But, yeah, those 4 cars right now are just as fast as the 8 or 9 on the bottom here. So definitely showing that momentum swing. They will stall out, though, when they get to the lead car, that being the 11 Tony Solari, just because they're not getting that side draft force. So that's where the guys up top really need to just get really nice and cuddled in with the rear bumpers of the guys in front of them if they want to make that push to get maybe Chuck Sweeting a lap lead tonight.
Yeah, Matty Watkins jumping up to the high side as well. So that high side's getting numbers. A little bit of shuffling going on the bottom too. And, sometimes these cars can whether they get air on the nose or what it is that they'll kind of move around a little bit. We saw that kind of looking back through. I was looking at Brian and Ryan and even Lane Allen back there kind of moving around. So once these things start getting a little 3 wide action, Jeremy, those little bounces around get a little bit closer and closer. So we see we got a little lead change here for Chuck Sweeting.
Chuck Sweeting pushed by Steve Loomis to the lead. Chuck Sweeting dips it down low to be secure that top spot, but I don't know if that's going to be a secure spot. That outside still looking mighty fast. We're going to see Steve Loomis make an excellent launch here. You see him just on your left-hand side of the screen as he is now side-by-side with Solari. They're about to enter turn number 3, and that 51 right now is all up on that bumper.
We saw that happen on Wednesday, Jeremy, where as soon as someone got clear on that high side to come on the low side, they come right down to the bottom, and then there'll be a new leader on the high side. So I think we're going to see that same trend here. As soon as they can kind of clear, they're probably going to jump on down to the inside, and we're just going to see a continuous rotation on that high side.
Kind of reminds me of the AI racing days, where you get a run on the top, and as soon as they clear, they go right to the bottom. It reminds me of that a lot, but, with a little more realism, of course. But, yeah, right now the 51, Brandon Elder putting on another good little draft, little half a lap here with the 17 of Steve Loomis. He's not getting too much help from behind. It's kind of choking him up a little bit. Let's see if they get a good run on the top. That Black Rifle Camaro gets a real good launch there, and you see Brandon Elder getting that tandem going. And it's going to propel 17 just a nose in front of Chuck Sweeting, and they move up kind of high, and it's going to allow that inside to potentially, clear him back in before exiting 4.
Yeah, that move up to the high side there, that third groove definitely slowed up their momentum, and with that bottom side just kind of creep right back up and get that run off. But Steve Loomis is not giving up. He's got Brandon Elder, who's been pushing pretty good with them, and that's what you mentioned earlier. You got to be right up on him and give him a little push if you want to move anywhere.
Yeah, they're riding really content too, because they are giving about 3 car lengths space between one another. No need to force it early, but the 17 kind of dips down this time to maybe pick up some side draft to exit off turn number 4, because they have realized that they have fallen back a few spots there since that last lap. Let's see if the 51 of Elder can get back to that bumper. It is difficult in these next-gen cars to do so. He looks like he's able to find it once again. We're going to see if he can maybe make the push. And the 18, Brian Bliss in that Toyota Camry jumps up to the top to try to lead the pack.
Yeah, and I was getting ready to go into that, where we talked about it on Wednesday, where some cars or trucks are more, their setup's better for pushing, and some are better for leading. So we'll see what happens. It looks like Chuck Sweeting, he had that great run when they were getting pushed by Steve Loomis, and he was able to make his way to the front. So far we can see, Chuck's got that car that needs to be out front, and we need to find who the pushers are, and that's what kind of they're doing right now. So they're filling out everybody, seeing who's going to be more of a pusher and who's going to be more of a leader.
Yeah, definitely. I think the 51 early want to show it on that he's the guy maybe to help push you to the lead. We're not entirely sure just yet. We see the 19 and the 18 working pretty well as Richie Coy passes his teammate Tony Solari on the inside line. He's going to try to get up there with Chuck Sweeting to lead a lap.
I was wondering if Tony was going to jump up there right in front of him and kind of lead that lap with Richie pushing him, but he stayed here on the bottom. But Richie's got the momentum as he's coming on the high side, as he's going to be making a run here on Chuck as they're coming off the 4, Jeremy. See if he can get him at the line.
Great launch off of turn number 4. I think he's going to do it this time. The 18 with a really good solid momentum push off of 4, and the 19 does clear. Chuck Sweeting dips it down low, just like you mentioned 2 laps ago. I think that's going to be that common sight, as you said.
I think you're correct on that one. So now it's going to be Brian. Let's see what, we see Richie definitely has the car that can be out front. So we'll see what Brian Bush can do on the high side. They still got 5 up there. They had 6 with Richie. So we'll see if they can gain some more numbers and have anyone else attempt at it. But looks like Chuck's just kind of content with riding right behind Richie right now.
To me, it looks like so far when the outside car dips to the bottom, it just destroys the momentum for about a lap or so on that top. You said the 18 dropped back to about 4th place on the high side there, and now he's got Steve Loomis back to his rear bumper in that 17 Camaro, and they got about 5 cars at this point to gather up. If they can get sucked back in, they can make a push and get that lonesome Toyota Camry out there to the lead.
Yeah, he's out here all by himself. He's got no drafting partners, but he's no stranger to being up front with these restrictor plate tracks. Remember, we've seen him in the trucks and in the Cup, whether it's Talladega or Daytona. He's been up front most of the time. So great run here for him at these tracks. And I love watching this. The rear chase view, Jeremy, where you can kind of see these guys come off the turn, and some of them will bring it down just below the yellow line. It's just like a train effect. Accordion effect. Everyone's just falling right down with them, and then they kind of a little bit of panic sets in to get right back up and wow.
Oh yeah, it's definitely awesome, and I love this camera angle too. I mean, it's something you can't produce in real life, but it brings an excellent action shot to everything basically around the driver on the inside line. You can see how close people get to. You can also see around who's on your bumper. Different viewpoints, which makes it an awesome. So nice job, Mr. Dustin, out there in the production lane getting that shot for us out there. But I think that outside line is kind of stalled out for a moment. I was kind of actually going to the back a little bit. I noticed that Brody Hanna's rejoined the main group here, so as a lot of other people on the head dropped back early, like the 2 of Rob Shoemaker, like the 89 of Impala. The 44 was kind of in the middle there, Chris Beck. They've all kind of sucked in now. It's made up one large pack, and then that 67 has, I think he's about a half a lap back now. That's James Wallace with that right nose damage. So he's definitely feeling the effects of it, but everybody else has kind of made it the one big pack race here.
Yeah, they were able to suck up and catch back up to that lead pack, and they're kind of keeping it still, that last, I don't know, we'll say 5 to 7 drivers. They're not really pushing it. They're just kind of sitting there, and they're about a car length to 2 car lengths back of one another too. So you can definitely tell they're just riding it out, waiting until the laps start winding down. We have 94 laps tonight, so plenty of time to get back up there, and we've seen how quick you can move up through the field, and especially if it gets spread out side by side, you can get up there in quite a hurry.
Oh, for sure. And since these guys are kind of keeping it calm for us, I'd like to kick it over to Nerds and the enhancement audio we call Nerd. So give us a couple minutes. We'll bring all the sights and sounds of the next-gen cars directly to your ears. We'll be back in a couple minutes. right, welcome back, everyone. That was a Nerd Enhanced Racing Decibels. Apparently I forgot the acronym entirely, but that was the segment where we bring a lot louder sound so you can hear all the bass and the feel of the engines essentially in your ear cup or whatever sound system you're listening to. Kind of a unique thing that we do here, Ken.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to just listen to these cars just go around and these different camera angles that you can get. And Justin, producing this whole thing puts a good camera angle show on for everybody with the sights and sounds. So it's great to watch. And we didn't see much of a change here at the front. We did see Brody Hanna almost lost the lead pack there, but they were able to catch him back and get back up to the lead group.
The only thing I noticed here, what I'm kind of keeping my eye on, is Stephen Lou Allen, the guy who won that Dirt Bristol race, second race with this series and with this league overall, and he's leading the way on the top side right now. He's about 6th place at this point, coming by. Matty Watkins probably going to put him back to 7th this lap, but outside's kind of falling apart other than that little change there on the top side.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think it depends on all who's up at the. See him come down here. Actually, we'll Stephen Lou Allen there, and looks like Brian Bliss, I believe, right behind him. There goes Matty Watkins down below that yellow, and that's where kind of I was talking about earlier. Everyone like kind of scatters when that happens, but I'm kind of interested to see what happens with this. Pit stops coming up, and see where everyone dips off and the strategy that's going to play. We saw what Rick G and Tony and then Brody pulled with the truck race and in the Xfinity where they came down early. So I'm expecting them to kind of do the same thing here in the Cup.
Yeah, we'll see when that lap does happen, but the 23 Brody Hanna is not up there just yet. He is within the main pack, but he's so far separated. He's got to nail that pit stop perfectly, or the top his other teammates rather, Richie Coy and Tony Solari, they need to kind of back it up a little bit entering pit road if they want to get all those 3 cars grouped together, which could be to their favor because they work so well together, these plate tracks.
And I was thinking the same thing too, because I know in the truck race they did that. I believe it was Tony that might have been further back, or maybe it was Richie. But either way, one of them was a little bit further back, and they were able to kind of back up, and Richie and Brody were able to get that run there on Tony, and then they linked up together. So I could see them kind of doing that too. But I've been watching this off of too, Jeremy. They've been cutting it close here. It's been getting a little dicey.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's just the setups that these guys brought, if there's maybe a little condition on the track, but there's a lot of moving around, especially like you said off the exit of turn number 2 on that bottom. You're seeing quite a few cars dip below that double yellow line. So I'm kind of curious to know exactly what's going on looking at the forecast. I mean, the track is really hot. They run at 116 degrees with 13 mile-an-hour winds coming out the east. I forget the orientation of this track as far as east-west goes, but I guess that crosswind of 13 wind mile-an-hour gusts coming from the east side is probably throwing these cars around.
Yeah, they're kind of bouncing, and more so off of 2 than 4, of course. But you can still see them as they come off of 4 a little bit swaying down. And one of them, Brian, there a couple of laps ago, I think we saw it on our TV. I thought he was coming down the pit road for a late entry, and I was like, man, he's hauling mail on this one. But I think it was just kind of a little bit of the change there in either the wind or something.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize the wind was pushing that hard until I had to go check to make sure to see what was going on that end. Yeah, 116 mile an hour degrees on the track, and then up to 13 mile an hour wind gusts. It's up to 14 right now this time as they exit turn number 2. So the weather's definitely playing a little bit of factor, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so too. And we see here everyone's kind of going on the bottom side, and you got the 4. You still got Steve Loomis sitting there with Brandon Elder up on that high side. They're trying to make that high lane work, and once we see a couple of drivers jump up there with them, they make it work. But as soon as they get the opportunity, they're dipping down and kind of taking that lead. Matty Watkins there cutting it a little close, but we see Brandon Elder all over the back of the 17 there, Steve Loomis.
And right before the pit stops happen, which it is coming up, no better way to promote Nerd Focus. Going to use Super Nerd at checkout, 10% off at nerdfocus.com. You want to stay focused, getting onto the racing or the pit road section. You want to make sure you don't speed. You can't be the number 6 of Brad Keselowski from yesterday. Got to hit your marks. Got to get out clean, and because if you have any penalty at this kind of racing surface, it's a big track at a restrictor plate, and it's really hard to make up if you lose your teammates by like 2 or 3 seconds even. So Get your focus with nerdfocus.com. Super Nerd at checkout again for 10% off any one of the 2 flavors that you choose from. And it looks like that high side is even broke up a little bit more. Matty Watkins is kind of leading the way. He's got the 17 2 car lengths back of him. They're just really spaced out, which this might be that sign that says, hey, we're trying to get to the bottom because pit stops are coming soon.
I think you're correct on that one. We saw Wayne Allen there. He jumped down to the bottom lane as Matty Watkins jumped to the high side, but they lost another one there in that pack. And Brandon Elder's kind of been falling back. I think as soon as they can get an opportunity, they're all going to start coming down, and we're just going to see this bottom lane flooded. And it should produce some good pit stops. I mean, on Wednesday night in the truck race, we saw a group of them, probably about 13 or 14 of them, Jeremy, come down at once, and clean as can be, too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's definitely very possible, and there's so much room that this track provides you to get into pit road. So, you know, it's definitely possible. You see the 24 slide back up across the 99's nose there to kind of hold that spot. It's going to allow 99 and Matty Watkins to kind of propel the 24, maybe make a move to pass a few other cars. They're not ready to pit just yet. I'm also impressed with that 51 still, who has not went to the bottom at all this race. He's your 4th car line on the top. 2 cars back of Matty Watkins, which you're on board with right now. He has not left the bottom, or the top rather, no matter if there's a door open, which there is now. He's just been super helpful in that top lane so far, but maybe he's going to be the key to tell us, hey, there's going to be a pit stop happening, because it's hard to come down to pit road when you're in the top lane.
Yeah, and I enjoy him being up there. I mean, that's where I like to be. When we were racing the Xfinity race, I tried to stay up in the high side as much as possible. Just, it's so much fun trying to sit there and pass everyone when you got that high side momentum. So I'm enjoying seeing him up there the whole race. But yeah, you're right. As soon as he comes down to that bottom lane, you know that he's getting ready to make his pit stops as well, since he's been up there all day. But kind of like we said on Wednesday, as soon as we hear someone coming in, Jeremy, I think we're going to see a lot of them just start boom, 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 one after another. Oh, we got Matty Watkins going around. Oh, into the outside wall. Steve Loomis is also around. Matty Watkins rolling down the backstretch.
Brody Hanna barely misses it. 2 cars, heavy contacts, huge amount of damage. You saw them both go up in the air. Caution is out for the first time on lap number 27 of the Talladega 250. That's again, it's going to be involving Superman Matty Watkins going across the nose of the 14 and slamming the number 17 of Steve Loomis into the outside turn number 2.
Man, and Brody, like you mentioned, he got by and he went down all the way to the bottom, and Steve came down as well. Look at that. Woo! I got to see Brandon Elder's in-car camera. That was close.
That was so close, yeah. And I'm sure Lane Allen got a nice little view there as he got crossed up. It almost looked like Watkins wanted to close the gap there between the 18 and the 14 and realized he couldn't do it, and the car got light in the sand area and just had no grip left over. Haven't seen these cars at super speedways too much. You're going to see right here.
Watch this split right here. I was just looking at this myself. Great work by Dustin here. Look at this. They just parted perfectly for him. Make it right on through there. That's the 67 of James Wallace.
That is super impressive stuff there. Man, what great driving by James Wallace there, and a couple of these guys to avoid that heavy, nasty wreck there off of turn number 2. No one expected it, right? There wasn't a huge pack. It was just him by himself on the top. I don't think anybody expected that, so great work to quickly react to those 2 guys wrecking everyone around him, because that could have been a lot bigger and a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah, I mean, just the avoidance. Like we see Brandon Elder right here. He got by. We saw earlier there the 67. James Wallace was able to get by. Chris Beck even had a close call with both of them, Matty Watkins and Steve Loomis. So just great avoidance driving. And like I mentioned, Brody Hanna almost went down to the inside wall all the way down the track, and Steve was sliding down. So it's just everyone it could have been from, instead of 2, could have been 10 plus.
And it's cool to see with these cars a little more durable on the exterior side. You see Steve Loomis coming down pit road here, just going to fix some cosmetic damage. But another close incident right there. I think that's the 44, if I'm not mistaken, just barely clears those guys. Great maneuver to go down below the yellow line and kind of avoid them from crashing into them.
Yeah, that super close calls all the way around. But we had a race off of pit road, and I believe Richie Coy was going to be the first one in, first one off. Chuck Sweeting followed in behind him, and Stephen Wu Allen is going to be, looks like, 3rd quickest off pit road.
It looks like a little bit of change of position because you can do 2-tire strategy. You can go just gas only. There's multiple scenarios that you can do with these super speedways and get away with. So, seeing reports that Matty Watkins has said on the radio, quote, "I have no idea what happened. It felt like somebody hit me. The car was never loose until right there." So, he has no idea what's going on. It doesn't even sound like he was trying to make a maneuver. The car just, kicked over. That might have been that wind gust that we were talking about a little bit ago.
Yeah, it could have been something because it was just like you said. You didn't even anticipate that happening, and he just whoop right to the outside wall. And Jeremy got reports here. Stephen Wu Allen drove through the pit stalls. Wasn't thinking on that one. They were gonna get. Looks like it was just an accident, so they're gonna. Just a warning on this one. But yeah, he went there and just drove through. Looks like about 10 stalls and wasn't even thinking about it.
Yep, it's one of those new league woes. You have to get used to the entire rule book, and sometimes when you read those over, you miss a line or two. And apparently that was the case there, and he learned the hard way. So he'll be getting kicked to the end of the longest line to kind of reset. But this is Talladega. You should have no problem doing so, getting back to the front.
They decided to not penalize him on this one. They just gave him a warning, so because he's so new, I think. So they're gonna give him a warning. So if he does it again, I think he's gonna get the EOL. So got lucky on this one.
Yeah, I mean that's super nice, super generous by the admins to give him that warning, so to speak, because the rule book says otherwise. But I guess they took the side of caution and maybe just didn't read it, or so super nice of them. Which that's FTSR for you. That's the group of guys that you're seeing every Monday and Wednesday night. So a quick shout out to them, by the way, for just putting on a hell of a league.
Yeah, there's some. I mean, I came out here on Thursday and did the Xfinity race with you and Dustin there on Thursday nights, and that was a great race. It was fun all around, and no matter what series I either broadcasting or watching or even racing in, it's great racing all around. So it's definitely a league that come check out.
I think we're actually going to try to bring in Mr. James Wallace, who split the gap there with those two cars flipping off at turn 2. Let me see if I can get a quick word with him.
Really good round.
James Wallace, this is Jeremy up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey.
Hey, man, just a quick word. I know we got about half a lap before we get this thing back going to green flag. I just wanted to have you walk us through avoiding the 17 and the 99 as they just rolled all around you.
It was just sort of clinch up, hold your breath, and see what's going to happen,
That's the only thing you can do, right?
It's super speedway racing. I mean, it's kind of sucked going a lap down, but I looked at it the same way, long race and something's going to happen.
Yeah, and that was one of those weird ones too, but we're all glad that you're able to put on a hell of a show there driving between those two cars. And I'm going to be back to your teammates. I know we're in turn 3, so good luck out there, man.
I appreciate it.
That was the Boomerang Motorsports driver, James Wallace, who we saw one of his first onboards of him going through the two cars, just flipping and flying all around him. Kind of a crazy sight, really, but excellent driving by him. Matty Watkins just backed out of the session. I guess that car was irreparable. So he's going to be the first car to DNF tonight. He will take home 23rd place in the Talladega 250 as we're about to get this field reset back to green flag. You see the pace car has dipped down. That means we got to wait for premature Patrick, late Larry, whatever you want to name him at this point. He's all over the map. Just waiting patiently for that green flag. It doesn't help that the pace car dips early because this start-finish line is all the way on the exit of the tri-oval.
Green flag,
Waiting
green
patiently,
flag.
racing to throw the green flag. Green flag finally goes in the air. Richie Coy with a decent start, but looks like Chuck Sweeting on that 75 on the high side. He's going to get a good help by his teammate.
Yeah, that's good for Chuck that he got Gil right behind him and had that teammate power, because then, Richie, he's got Tony Solari up about third row back, up on the high side, and then we know Brody's a little further back. So, but he's got Stephen Wu Allen, and so far he showed he's got what it takes. So let's see who can kind of get this push head into 4.
Yeah, 2x2 all the way through. First time we've really seen those two guys team up in quite a few amount of races. Let's see what they can do on the top side. And we got the 11 of Tony Solari behind them. which is, working against them as he sees his 19 teammate there on the bottom leading the inside line. Maybe he wants to get up there and work with him instead.
Yeah, I would imagine as soon as Tony can have a chance to clear, he's going to drop on down. But the question is Gator Racing of Chuck Sweeting and Gil Gawk, are they going to make that clear pass as soon as they get an opportunity? So we won't see that. I don't think we'll see Chuck jump down like we've been seeing most of them, because he's not going to leave Gil up there. So that, as we see right now, Richie's going to kind of prevail, and they're going to gain a couple car lengths on these guys on the outside.
I was doing a quick
jump into the outside.
24. I guess he didn't realize that the 99 spun out the same exact kind of motion going up high and next to the turn number 2. Had about 13-mile-an-hour winds once again coming out of turn number 2. So he had a lot more grip than the 99 did. Was able to make it stick, and it worked for him as he takes over the lead for the first time this evening.
Yeah, that was a nice move there. Right as he came up, timed it perfectly. Was able to jump up in front of him. But we see Chuck Sweeting. Him and Gil Gawk, they're not giving up on this one. They're powering back on the outside. So we'll see what Stephen Wu Allen can do on here as he's leading the field, because I think this is the first time that we've seen him out front. So we'll see how his car does in this open air.
It looks like Gator Racing right now is kind of showing a little more speed out of those two cars, as they had him cleared there essentially entering turn number 1, but they allowed the 24 to keep his spot for the time being, as the two Mustangs are working to get on the bottom with 19 pushing that 24 heavily.
Hey, look who's leading that top side, or in the end of that top side row right now. He's trying to make his way up there. That's 23 of Brody Hanna. He's a couple spots away from his teammate Tony Solari, and then of course we know they're a couple spots from Richie Coy. But we see Richie jump up to that high side, so I think they're trying to get together one way or another, whether they're going to be doing the high side or not.
First time I've seen this in a while. That top side is matching the amount of cars as there is on the bottom. Actually, has a little bit more in this top 10. So we will see here what this high side has in store. But right now, if it's by the numbers, I'm on my top side. I'm going for that top spot, and that's what Wayne Grassie's doing. Is he's going to be peeking his nose in front of that 24.
Yeah, he's definitely going for it. And some of those, we heard Brody Hanna there come on the radio. He jumped from that high side, got down to the low side. Wasn't really liking what he was seeing up there. So you see here on their TV, he's a little bit back there and letting these guys with the front race. But Wayne Grassie's kind of controlling this, Jeremy. He's going the inside, high side. He's picking up where he can, but Richie Coy's going to take it into 3 as the lead right now.
Richie Coy, dominant amount of speed there. As soon as Wayne Grassie dipped to think about blocking the inside line, that 19 just zoomed to his outside and took that spot over and then clears him just in 2 corners. Pretty impressive stuff there by the 19 of Richie Coy. But then once again, that's going to bring the 75 and 85 Gator Racing back 1 and 2 on the top.
Yep, and that's putting them 1-2. That's going to leave just 4 there up on that high side as well. And they had numbers, as you mentioned, about the same as much on the bottom. 6 cars, I think, maybe even 7 at one point, and they had a great run. But now it's just 4 up at the top, and you have those 2 teammates working together. But they're going to need a little bit more numbers if they want to make this work, as we see Wayne Grassie getting a good shove to Richie Coy as they're heading down the backstretch in the 3.
Excellent push of the top 5, just nose to tail. Strength in numbers still, and that inside line is prevailing for sure, as that outside just kind of falters away as they're all but single file at this point here. 19 leading the way with Wayne Grassie, and then the 24 of Stephen Llewellyn still maintains in 3rd place after getting himself a lap or 2. And then you see that lone 18 there, Brian Bliss, doing what he does at Super Speedways, runs inside that top 5.
And it looks like everyone kind of jumped to the bottom there for a second. We only had one at the top, Chuck Sweeting, and then the 33 of Sherwood Wolford jump up there, and Tony Solari followed him. But that high side, Jeremy, it's just kind of fallen by the wayside, and looks like the inside's the way to be right now. So everyone's just kind of hanging out in single file.
Don't ask that 51. He still wants a partner. The only reason why he's on the bottom right now is because there's nobody else on the top. He keeps poking his nose out there. He wants somebody.
Yeah, he's trying to find some help. He wants to go up on that high side, and he's, as you see Sherwood, he's trying for it, Jeremy. Every chance that he gets a run off of the, turn 2 or turn 4. Here he goes. He's got a couple with him. Casey McMullen coming up there with him. Chuck Sweeting's going to be jumping up there. I think we're going to have Gil Gawk might even be coming right there behind him as well. So we're going to have some more build up on the high side.
Let's hit the 51. He does get clear. Let's see if he goes to the top. There he goes. Completely expected. 51, Brandon Elder leading the charge. 18 of Brian Bliss in that Camry. Makes the move to the top side too, and all of a sudden we have 6 cars leading the charge on the top.
Yeah, that was, everyone just saw the momentum that they have, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Wayne Grassy or the 24 Stephen Wu Allen make a run up there at the top side because we saw them do it earlier. I think the 24 might be going because he's got the first attempt at it, so he's one to keep an eye on. But this high side is back up to about 5, and we got a gap there. It looks like these two packs have split up. It looks like Kenneth Schultz is leading the way of that second pack, so they've broken away from each other a little bit.
It's harder to lose the draft pack in these next gens than any other car on the service, really. Just the draft model is just not, I don't think it's where it needs to be. There's just a huge bubble. They've gotten better with it, but I feel like there's still a lot of work left to be done. But it has separated the first group from the second group. Got, 12 cars, about 13 cars rather in that first split, and then about 5 or 6 another. Then, they're going to need a caution to get back up there with the leaders.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need that. And we kind of saw on Wednesday there was a little bit of, I think there was one caution or so. We had a long green flag run, then we had a little strain of caution. So we'll see how it plays out. And it's Talladega, like we mentioned, it can go either way. You either have quite a few wrecks or it's pretty clean most of the way. So they definitely need that to get going. But we got a little run here on the outside, Jeremy. Brian Bliss leading the way with Brandon Elder pushing them, and we saw those two kind of pair up earlier.
Yeah, we have, and then 18 is, he's tried to lead the charge once before. I don't know if he's got the steam as the lead car. He's going to give it another go here, and they're kind of falling back here in turn numbers 1 and 2. Richie Coy, I think, has such a really strong leading car. It's kind of hard to compete because since he's taken that lead there on the bottom, that bottom lane's almost been untouchable.
Yeah, and we saw the 85 and the 75 Gill and Chuck there go down to the inside, so that's going to leave just 3. And Brandon Elder jumping out of line, maybe trying to cool that thing off. He's been pushing the 18 most of the night tonight. So that high side, it gets a good momentum push there with 6 or 7 drivers, and then it just kind of drops back off.
Yeah, I think it's mainly because of that 19 and how dominant he is being so far. 4 cars on the top, 3 cars right now actually. They're trying. 18 made a decent run there entering turn number 1. There's just not enough help, and I think that 51 to Brandon Elder, he's got to keep cooling that grill off. There's no way he can tandem for so long without overheating. Makes another solid effort here on the exit of turn number 2, but he's got to keep dipping that nose to the right to kind of cool that engine off to make sure he doesn't have that engine expire soon. Yeah,
the one that I'm still, if they get together, is that Fury Motorsports. I mean, we see how strong the 19 is, as you mentioned. They're running out front, and his teammates Tony Solari and Brody Hanna, I'm sure their setups are pretty similar as well. And we've been watching Brody, most of the night. He's been kind of laying conservative, kind of keeping back there, not really pushing the issue. I think he's trying to make it to the end on this one. But if those 3 get together, Jeremy, that's going to be hard to beat.
Well, it really will, and we haven't seen him do so just yet. So we already see how the 19's dominant. So if they get all 3 connected, who knows, man? We'll see how fast these guys can go. But still impressed with how the 18's leading the top 5. On the top side with only 3 cars. I think we see Brody Hanna and Lane Allen there kind of shift to the top. See if we get 5. No, it looks like it's going to be 4 cars as Brody's going to try to suck in here behind Sherwood Williford to make a little bit better charge here on the top.
Yeah, they can get a little bit of pushing power and get more. But, like you said, Brian Bliss there on the high side, he's just making it work. He's slowly, he might gain a couple, lose a couple, but he slowly and surely is making his way back up here. I think he's about 4th row back there on the inside now. He's just trying to get a little bit of side draft. He's not cutting as close. We're still plenty of time away there, so they're just kind of using drafting. But once he can get that side draft going, you'll see it happen later here in the race where they'll make their run with that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely plays a huge part in any type of super speedway race. Is that side draft? It's just how close do you get to the opponent's door? How much speed do you want, and how much are you willing to take it? So there you have that net code risk at all times. You got to keep that in the back of your head when you're doing so. And with that crosswind of 13 mile an hour coming off of turn number 2, we've already seen what it did to the 99. So you definitely have to watch how much space you try to take away from that door panel to get that speed, because if you ask for too much, it might it might bite you.
Yeah, it might just whip you around and send you rolling down the backstretch, and you definitely don't want to do that. So we'll see kind of how those runs turn out. As we see Casey McMullen jump up to that high side as well, so they're going to get 5 up there now, trying to make a run up here. We'll see if Wayne Allen goes up there. I know he's been kind of flirting with the high side as well. Yep, here he goes. He's going to go up there, Wayne Allen. That's going to give us 6 there up on that high side. So we'll see if we can get a little run here on that high side with Brian Bliss leading the way, and Brandon Elders, he's trying to get right up there, give him a shove going into 3.
Yep, 7 on the bottom, 6 on the top. They're pretty evenly matched. Let's see if that's what they need for Brian Bliss to get up here and contend with Mr. Richie Coy. He's gained a spot since the 6 cars have all lined on the top, and that outside line kin looks a lot more secure than the bottom. The bottom seems to be moving around a little bit more, and I think that's why we're seeing that 18 kind of creep up into the picture.
Yeah, that bottom side, it's just, you can see the gaps on it right now. It's just those top 3 that are kind of keeping it close. After that, it, kind of pairs out, and we see there a little bit of a bump there going into turn 1. Ryan Hedrick got bumped by, I believe that was the 44 of Chris Beck, and that pushed him down to the inside. So now the 67 of James Wallace is going to have to slow up to catch his teammate Ryan Hedrick. So that's going to put them quite a few paces back here, this lead pack now.
Yeah, that definitely one that little hiccup kind of domino effects all the way through, and you don't want that to happen, especially when you're trying to maintain a certain pace here. And we're almost halfway through this event, so they got about 2 more green flag stops if they go the rest of the way. So I mean, it's not like everything's done with, but if you're gonna try to get rid of your mistakes, try to get rid of them early, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what so you're saying you think there's gonna be 2 more stuff, because I know they came down on what, 28 or 29. So then they're going to have, 60? You think they can push it all the way to the end with 94? Or do you think they're going to have to come back down there?
Not entirely sure. I do know the caution is what brought them into pit road. I actually don't know exactly how long that fuel mileage is, but I would imagine they could have won a few extra laps. So I'm going to go out on a limb here, with my amazing playbook I bring. I think they're going to go 2 more green flag stops if we go green the rest of the way.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have. I'm sure we'll have some strategy here play out too, depending on how everyone goes and how far they can stretch it. See if anyone can kind of catch one, possibly with a caution or just fuel mileage. But that yellow kind of threw something at everybody too, Jeremy, because they weren't ready to come down just yet, and the way that it came out just made them kind of force the hand to have them come down early.
Yeah, I mean, you had to, because you ran so many laps, almost 30 laps at that point. So. To not pit would have just, hurt yourself on the next green flag run, which you're seeing now, because you would have pitted by now at this point. So everyone did come down for gas, and I think that mileage will stretch out, but we'll find out for sure. And I think those cars a little bit further on back have kind of sucked in, the ones that kind of been separated, with like Kenneth Scholes and Rupert. They're kind of closing a little bit more. Than, but that top side, only 3 to 4 cars right now. We see a new leader on the top lane here. Looks like that might be Chuck Sweeting. Yeah, Chuck Sweeting's kind of leading the charge, and at least trying to on the top. New leader on the high line. Brian Bliss, first time in a while, he's got to fall back behind someone. Let's see if Chuck Sweeting has that car to lead the pack to the front.
We saw him earlier when he was pushing his way up there. He was able to get down to the inside lane and lead a couple laps there. So he definitely has the car to lead. He just, see if Brian Bliss can give him the push. And we know Brandon Elder, he's definitely been pushing all day, but there's just 3 of them up there right now. So as you see Brian Bliss kind of catch out a little bit, and not sure if he checked up or touching a little air, but he's all over the back bumper of Chuck Sweeting.
Oh, yeah, I got my personal cam set right on the back of Chuck Sweeting, and Brian Bliss is all over that rear bumper, just trying to get him every ounce of speed he possibly can. He's already passed 2 cars since he sucked up to him. We'll see how long that 18 can do it before he has to lift. You see on the rear bumper, 75. You got nothing but white and red Toyota Camry in your camera. Really working the back bumper of the 75 to get him going, but kind of stalemating right now, just sitting outside the top 5.
Yeah, and after that lap right there, that puts us halfway. So we're halfway through this race. Richie Coy kind of been dominating most of this race, so he's still up front. Your top 5, top 3 as we go through halfway. Richie Coy, Wayne Grassy, and Stephen Lou Allen all sitting there on the bottom lane. So see if this high side can kind of shake things up. We just need more people. Right now we just got 3. We need to get about 6 or 7, possibly 8, and side by side. But I know that's going to come as this lap start winding down.
I'm liking this 3-car setup here on the top, though. 18's really confident in getting that bumper to the back of the 75. we know what the 51's capable of, and he's behind the 18 right now, that being Brandon Elder. They have gained another spot since that last lap, so Chuck Sweeting was scored 5th that last time by. It looks like he might be clearing the 57 off of turn number 2. So he's got 3 cars left. This is the fastest we've seen in the outside line in probably, a good 15, 20 laps.
And Sherwood just jumped up there as well. So that's going to give him 4 cars up on that high side. And he showed some speed as well. I've been kind of keeping an eye on him and the way he's been jumping out of line, kind of pushing up through, pushing people that's up there. Wayne Grassley's going to jump up to that high side right in front of Chuck. So we're going to have a little battle for the lead right here, Jeremy, as we're coming to the tri-oval. We'll see if Wayne Grassley can kind of sweep it down here on Richie Coy. He's going to keep up 2 grooves difference, though, so he's not doing any side draft, but that's going to give Richie this lap still. But Wayne Grassley's, though, he's going to be trying to Chuck right behind him.
Ross Chastain, Wayne Grassley makes that late move to the top of turn number 4 to jump in front of that 75 to lead the way. Let's see if that was the momentum they finally needed. Looked like the 75 was probably going to get there, but with the help of the number 7, the 19 actually, it looks like has a check up there on the bottom, and it's going to allow that 7 and 75 to take over with the 18 as well. Huge change in positions as your leader falls all the way back to just maybe outside the top 5 even.
Yeah, and what's funny is, Wayne Grassley and Chuck Sweeting jumped up there in front of the 18 of Brian Bliss, and they led that thing all the way to the front and get right in front of Richie Coy and put the 18 of Brian Bliss back on the outside. He's trying to make his way back here, see what he can do. And I know you mentioned Ross Chastain making that late race jump, and they mentioned that was going to be something to talk about in the garage, but what they ended up talking about at the end of the day is how he won the race. So see if Wayne Grassley can do the same thing.
As long as it doesn't wreck anybody, it's all fair and game. And, it might not make the people happy, but you got to do what you got to do to get the W sometimes. And, making those kind of moves like that shows your car is darty. It has grip. It can get you where it wants to. And, some people might put that in their notebook and say, hey, this guy might be able to make a move for me later on.
And Brody Hanna jumped up here on the high side, so he's now leading. That high side had a run there, as we saw, but they were heading in the 3, and all the momentum just dropped off as they're going to go back in a hurry here on this inside lane. But they had quite a run there going down the backstretch, Sherman.
Yeah, they sure did, but I think that 18 leading the way, I just don't see him as the leading car. They're going to need to swap to get that line going, because right now he's starting to see it falter again just a little bit. That 18's really good at pushing. I think he needs to be behind another car to get that lane, back up and moving toward the front.
I think you're correct, and here's what's going to happen. We're going to probably see Tony Solari and Brody Hanna jump up to that high side and see if they can pick up Richie Coy, because I've been watching Brody slowly pick through the field, Jeremy, and he's been kind of making his way up through. Finally, now he's right behind one of his Fury Motorsports teammates there, Tony Solari. So now they just got their sights set on their other teammate of Richie Coy and see if those 3 can hook up, because you got the speed. Brody can move his car whichever way he wants. He's going high, he's going low, he's moving in and out. He's definitely has a car that can handle well.
Oh, yeah, it's for sure one of the best handling cars out there that I've noticed as well. Able to get it done, and Brody's he's probably excited to find a teammate finally. It only took him 50-some laps to get there, but he's finally found the back bumper of Tony Solari, and they're just several cars away from seeing that DeWalt Ford Mustang in their windshield. So if they make a couple of good moves, they can get there. But right now that top side is kind of clogged for them at the moment.
And even though they're only, they're 2 cars back right now. We're going to have pit stops here in the next 10 laps, 15 laps or so. So make sure nothing happens. They're kind of sitting in that area where they're not like last time where you were mentioning Brody was even in that backpack. So this one, they're pretty close. They're only a couple cars off each other. So whenever they decide to come down, they're going to be right there with each other. So they're playing this. It's working out for them. We'll say that.
Yeah, as far as pit strategy goes, absolutely they will be there to jump down all together just fine at this point. Don't need to worry about that. That high side really shifts up super high, though. Let's see if that just means they're going to drop back, go single file. We'll find out in the next lap or 2. But typically there's not speed up there in that very top lane.
No, there's not. And I'm kind of thinking with you, maybe Brian Bliss has that car that can push, has that pushing car, but maybe not the lead car. I'd like to see Brandon Elder kind of get up there and see what he can do as the lead car, because we know he's definitely has a car that pushes, and that might be his role that he's playing tonight. But we see right now, it looks like Brandon Elder's actually going to go on the inside here. Brian Bliss, let's see if anyone goes with him or if he's going to jump down to the inside, and he goes down to the inside. So is Case McMullen. So that's just going to leave Brian Bliss and Sherwood up there, and now even Brian's down. So we might be seeing some pit stops coming here.
Really kind of surprised he dipped down below the 18. I thought he was going to get a launch, and then I don't know if he lifted or if the run just got killed, but he was unable to pass the 18 and then, lost a lot of ground, so it almost looks like he lifted a little bit. That's going to bring in this little pack here that kind of separated themselves again back into the picture. Once again, they got the 89, the number 1, 91, the 2. These guys, led the way right now by Casey McMullen, just kind of playing it super safe here. Maybe just waiting for that round of pit stops to come through. It's not a bad idea sometimes to just lay low.
No, it's not. And Brandon Oder looks like he's going to fall back to that group, which is fine for them because they're still going to be close. And they'll have the momentum and come back up here, especially with Brian Bliss and Lane Allen sitting back there trying to make that high side work. But Wayne Grassie's been controlling the bottom, Jeremy. He's got a fast car tonight. We saw him and Chuck Sweeting jump into that high side, and he's been kind of controlling this for the last 5 to 7 laps or so that he's been out front since he's made that move. So definitely showing a strong case tonight.
It's almost like the real life situation where the Fords had it at Daytona, and then you come to Talladega, and Chevrolet's kind of figured it out at this point. We've seen a lot of the top guys being Chevrolet, minus Richie Coy. Wayne Grassie and Chuck Sweeting have been pretty dominant overall. We've seen that 51 Brandon Elder and that Camaro doing some excellent work. So a lot of Chevrolets out here that's showing some good horsepower.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks the same, like you mentioned, in real life as in the game here. And I mean, Toyota, though, Brian's the only one out there with the Toyota power. But as we saw, he jumped up there with Wayne Allen, and they gained a couple of spots, and they went back in line. So everyone right now is single file. I think we got one jumped out there on the high side, as I said that. So all but one are kind of running right now single file on the bottom.
Yeah, it's just playing it safe until the round of pit stops, which we should be seeing somewhat soon. If they run about another 5 laps or so in my book, I think this might be only a one-stop shop. We'll have to find out here in just a few short laps as they keep ticking them away. But as they are all single file, I think they might be talking to their teammates saying, hey, when are you guys coming down?
And another thing to look at, I mean, like I said, making 2 spots, or if you're making 1 stop, you're going to have to stretch it. So who's going to stretch it far enough and then is going to have some teammates with them and also not lose any ground? So it's going to be a lot of factors in here that's going to play into this to see if they can make it on 1 stop or 2. So that's going to be kind of interesting to watch the rest of the race.
Yeah, and strategy is going to be key, and that's going to help you get to the end of the season as far as your points go. And no better way to keep track of your points than Sim Racing Points, the official sponsor for the Truck Series every Wednesday night that you see on Nerd TV. It's an all-inclusive league points management system that any league admin would love to have on their hands for completely customized widgets, for just how simple it is to upload your exports. If you just go to simracingpoints.com, they have a great listing of what they have to offer to each and every league out there. And it's at a good price point as well. That's going to be simracingpoints.com. And we got a little chatter in the race here. I don't see anything going wrong on the racing surface, but they're still just single file all the way through here and kind of just hanging on here. Oh, actually, you know what? Ryan Hedrick, turn number 3, spins out with Chris Beck off his front bumper, and I've been saying it all week, Ken. You can't bump on that right rear. And it struck again here at the 44, getting to the back of 47. No cautions out because they're all by themselves, but heavy impact to the outside wall from the 47.
Yeah, and that's twice. I mentioned about 10 laps ago they were heading in the 1, and he kind of the same thing, gave him just a little bit too much of a shove, and that put him down below. But, yeah, this is going to be a big hit here for Ryan Hedrick, who did not need this. Look at that. Oh, hard hit to that outside wall. And unfortunately, no caution for him either. So and here we see right now the leaders are actually coming back around, and Ryan Hedrick's going to drop it down to the apron. That's a classy move on him, but that's going to put him a lap down, Jeremy. Like we said, coming in 3 points down in the point standings here. That's going to be a big hit for him.
Yeah, absolutely will. And you see another hit right there, just heavy impact into the outside wall just before getting to turn number 3. Chris Beck, I don't know what, and he probably, I don't know what it was, but after that wreck, he came right down to pit road, got out of the car, ended the night for Chris Beck. So that's going to be your second DNF of the night. It's going to put him back in 22nd place after this race is all said and done.
Oh, we got pit stops coming, Jeremy. Looks like the Fury Motorsports are coming down like they did last time, doing a little bit of short pitting.
Yeah, here we go. They're notorious for doing this, and they're the only 3 cars coming down. Looks like it was a very seamless pit entry. Just make sure you hit your marks. It looks like it might be the last time that you're going to see the crew unless there's another caution. But even then, so they might stay. We'll find out here. Richie Coy and Brody Hanna hits the box first. Tony Solari hits it third. Looks like everyone did a nice, clean stop there.
Yeah, we're going to have I hear on the little radio chat, Jeremy, that we're going to have a bunch of other ones coming down. I think I heard Gil Goss going to be coming down, Chuck Sweeting, possibly the 57. Yep, 57 of Josh Johnson going to be coming down. So, like last time, these Fury Motorsports cause a trend, and here we're going to see everyone start coming down here.
57 jumping down Josh Johnson, the 24 last week's winner, Steven. You see Wayne Grassy in the 7, 75 of Chuck Sweeting at 24 locks him up a little bit. I think they're able to get it low down. Is there a 3 wide going down pit road? We see the 91 Kenneth Scholes, 85 Gil Gogg, number 1 Kevin Rupert. A lot of other guys coming down pit road this time.
Yeah, the 57 Jeremy had a great run coming in the pit road. I mean, he gained a bunch of time, was right there even with Wayne Grassy, and then the 24 Stephen Lou Allen. So great pit stop on those guys as well, and should have a good little run. I believe I heard the 24 overshot his pit stop there as well. I'll have to check on that, see if that's who overshot his pit stall.
That is absolutely correct. I did see the 24. It did overshoot, had to back up probably about 2 feet. That's all it takes for iRacing. You might be in your box on the painted surface. There is specific guidelines you got to stop in, and he overshot it by, it looks like, 2 feet. That's going to cost him about 2 seconds, really. So might kick him outside the draft. I just see another little group here come down, led by Lane Allen and that Mountain Dew Chevrolet. And you got the 51 there, Brandon Elder, Brian Bliss in the Toyota Camry, Casey McMullen coming down, one of your hot guys for tonight. And then you got Sherwood Williford and Steve Loomis in that 17.
Yeah, and it looks like Wayne Allen came in. I mean, he hit the line at 60. He was slowing down, so we'll see what happens when he registers. But see if you can catch him for speeding or if he might have just timed it perfectly. We'll find out here. But looks like Tony Solari and that Fury Motorsports leading the way there. They're going to probably be that lead pack, Jeremy. I think when this thing's all said and done, I'm kind of watching them, and they're going around everyone. I think the only one left up there is Chuck Sweeting, but the run that they're going to have on Chuck is just going to blow the doors off of them. So great strategy again by these guys in the Fury Motorsports.
Let's see what happens when it's all said and done. But they got a decent amount of cars with them, and if you all notice, they're 5 cars deep, and they're all Ford Mustangs. So you can't hate on that strategy working with your manufacturers for sure, as they go ahead and clear everyone that's going to bring Tony Solari to the race lead this time by.
Yeah, we're going to be coming up here on about 31 laps to go. So these laps are ticking down, and it'll be interesting on that pit stop, Jeremy. It's going to be close. We'll see what happens. There's going to be about 33 laps that they're going to have to go if this thing keeps going green, and so far so good. So we'll see how this plays out, or we could have a quick little splash and go instance here.
When we ran this race with them on Thursday, this is exactly what they did to us, is they teamed up, and minus, even if we didn't have our pit road glitches, I think they still would have had us beat off pit road initially anyways, because these guys can just tackle that pit entrance so well and hit the stop so good, and they know how to link up. As soon as they exit back on the race surface, boom, they are nose to tail, and that's what propelled them to the lead here. Yeah,
that's the thing. They keep it tight too. I mean, and you'll have the lead car pushing the front car there, and then like we see Richie Corby in the third in line. He's just going to keep it right up on the bumper. So they know how they keep it nice and tight and keep up there as quick as they can. But you see these guys behind them. No one's really trying to make a pass, and I think they know from what they've seen this last week that this group Fury Motorsports is going to be hard to beat. So if they're going to get up there on that high side, they're going to have numbers.
Ryan Hedrick has succumbed to the amount of damage he had from that outside wall contact about 10 laps ago. That's going to drop him back to 21st to end the night for him. And if Richie Coy can maintain a top 5, that once again is just going to be a huge chunk of points taken from Ryan Hedrick, who went from leading this thing all season to, dropping back a lot of points here. As you see the 67 make his pit stop all by himself, working on that car a little bit more. But, yeah, it's just, I feel terrible for that rookie Ryan Hedrick. Got just a few races left, and everything's just kind of crumbling around him.
Yeah, big point swing. Hit that bad little bunch of tracks there, the short track racing, and then coming here, just trying to survive, get out of here with a nice finish. He was kind of sitting in the back the whole night, Jeremy. Not trying to be up front. I think he was trying to avoid the wrecks, and unfortunately, sometimes you sit back there and avoid them, and you end up getting into one. So definitely going to be a big hit, and he's going to have to buckle down with these last 3 races and see if he can make some gains on Richie Coy or have something happen that way. But tough swing here in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, for anybody at Talladega, it's definitely the hashtag all luck, no skill until you get within 5 laps to go or so. And, sometimes things happen, and that was completely nothing that the 47 did wrong. It was just a bad bump, and that's all it takes. One little bump and your whole night's erased. So he's got a lot of work to do in the last 3 races of the season to gain any points back on potentially your points leader, Richie Coy, at this thing's all said and done. But right now, Fury Motorsports still leading the way, 1, 2, 3.
And no one's competing with them, Jeremy. No one's sitting there jumping to the high side. They're all just riding single file. And it could be just they're trying to get this thing down. And we could have a little bit, you're going to be sitting there throttle, baby in the throttle there and not going full throttle down. So you could catch some gas mileage, saving a little bit of fuel here. I know when I was doing on Thursday, I was sitting back there about half throttle, just kind of keeping up with everyone. So we're going to see a difference fuel mileage here from Tony Solari out front to, we'll say, Shane Papalo back there in 5th.
Since these guys are all single file, we have not brought you a commercial break yet. We're actually going to bring all thank yous visually this time to all of our sponsors out there. So we'll be back with you guys in a few short minutes as we give thanks.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
right, guys, welcome back to full screen coverage. We're on lap 72 of scheduled 94. That's going to bring us 23 laps left to end this Talladega 250. And had one person pit on the lead lap, being the 33 of Sherwood Williford. He was in the second group back and solo pitted, not sure what's going on there, but we got a heavy battle for the lead as they're side by side, led the way by the number 24 and the 18 on the top.
As we were coming back there from that commercial break, you saw everyone just kind of scatter and pan out, and now we got a battle for the lead. So here we go. It's going to see if we can get Stephen Wu Allen. He's going to try and make it 2 for 2 here. So he's getting a nice push by the 18 of Brian Bliss. And like we mentioned earlier, that 18 now he's out front, so we'll see what he can do. But we'll see if he's more of a pusher than the leader. We know he can push because obviously he just pushed out the 24 for the lead. So we'll see if I can kind of get down to the inside here and clear and see if he can run this inside lane.
Yeah, that 18 has been a great pusher, but now he's got 71 on his back bumper. This is the highest running spot that the 71 Case McMullen has been in all night long, giving a decent push to the 18 on the top, and it looks like so far the 18 is able to maintain the 24 just on the slight advantage halfway down the backstretch.
And they lost their numbers there on the high side, Jeremy. I think there's only about 4 of them now. Yeah, there's only 4 that's jumped up on that high side. So we'll see if they can keep that momentum with the 18 leading the way. And the 24 of Stephen Wu Allen, we know that he's been strong all day. And whether he's on the high side or the low side, Jeremy, he's been leading the pack.
Yeah, car's been strong, and he has a chance to go back-to-back in his first 2 races at Full Throttle Sim Racing. And that 18, though, he wasn't pushing or leading the way early, but right now with that 71 on his rear end, he's actually keeping up with that 24, maintaining the first and second spot.
Yeah, might have found him a nice little drafting partner here and with the 71 of Casey McMullen there. See if they can do it. Just get a little bit of side draft there as they're coming off. See 24 creep up a little bit, but that gave him a great run there. That's going to propel the 18 out about 2 car lengths of the 24, and that's going to, we see Case McMullen, they both clear and they come down, so that's a good move there by the 18. He's going to keep Case McMullen right behind him.
I saw that 71 trying. He was hesitating, trying to see if he can make that work. At the same time, he gave the 18 too much time to think about it, watched the mirror, and followed him exactly down in front of that 24. That's going to kick back your race leader from 2 laps to go back to 4th place at the moment. So just in a couple laps, things have changed, and now Brian Bliss leads the way on the bottom.
And, you know, looking at the 24 there, Stephen Wu Allen, it doesn't look like he's too happy with not being out in front. Been watching this car the whole race as he's trying to find his way through, and you'll see him poke up and he'll look on the inside. He'll try and take it to the outside as we see the Fury Motorsports are going to jump up there. So they're going to take it to the high side, and they're going to pass that at actually 24 there of Stephen Wu Allen, and we're going to see if Fury Motorsports has anything on the high side.
Let's see if they can play the strategy that I've had in my head all week. We'll see if they can make it happen. And now they got the 75 of Chuck Sweeting and Wayne Grassy on the top behind them, which we know that's a great amount of drivers to have behind you. And the 71 temporarily goes 3 wide. He's going to get shoved in that sucker hole. No friends. He's going to fall back 5, 6, 7 spots. Right now, side by side, Tony Slaughter does not get it this time. Brian Bliss still leads lap number 76.
Yeah, he tried to jump up there and take that momentum there from Tony Solari, and it just killed his run, put him out in the middle, nowhere to go, drop back. Luckily, he was able to pick up the draft, but we're going to the same thing here with Wayne Grassy. Wayne Grassy is trying to go to the outside here of the Fury Motorsports, and that's going to put him there. But we see Stephen Wu Allen is okay. He's going to have a nice little bump here on Brian Bliss to push him into the 1, but not as good as Brody Hanna and Tony Solari as they're getting a great shove down here the backstretch heading in the 3.
Huge amount of momentum here coming into turn number 3. It's going to allow that number 11 to just clear the 18, it looks like, at this time. Let's see if that 18 can dip down and have Fury Motorsports control the inside and outside. Looks like the 23 was almost clear. So far, the 11's going to hang tight there on the top and try to help his teammates. As 2 of them want to go down, they realize Richie Coy was not clear just yet, and it looks like at the moment they're all going to... Brody Hanna actually clears the 11 on the top side. 11 has to go back down to the bottom. Now they got teammates side by side.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get a run here because you know Richie Coy and Brody Hanna definitely want to go on that low side. So we'll see if Tony Solari might slow up the low side or if they're going to get a run. Either way, you see the 23 and the 19 making the run here on the 11. We should expect them to drop down in front of the 11. That's going to put Wayne Grassy there in the front spot. Yeah, they do exactly that. Putting Brody Hanna on the point. First race back, no problem. Let's get back in the lead and let's see what we can do.
That's the mindset I had on Thursday was, let the lead car on the team run the bottom, and then you kind of let the outside get in front of you, then drop down. It brings all your teammates 1, 2, 3 back to the bottom, and Brody Hanna this time by the random shuffle, he takes the lead on lap number 78.
Yeah, great momentum. We got 17 laps here. We got remaining in the Talladega 250. So 3 on the outside. Just Wayne Grassy and Chuck Sweeting up there right now trying to get a little push. They got the 71 of Casey McMullen, who's made his way back up there. But they're holding strong, Jeremy, with just these 3.
Yep, strong enough for that number 7 to drop back in front of the 23. That's going to bring Wayne Grassy to the race lead on the inside line. Chuck Sweeting with a little bit of a blink. He's fine now. And looks like the 18 is going to jump to the high side with him, make it a 3-car run again.
Yeah, the 24 was looking as well. He wants to get up there and see what he can do. As you can see him kind of ducking outside of the 11 of Tony Solari. He doesn't know if he needs to stay low or go high, but he wants to get up there as quick as possible. I mean, we got 16 laps to go. We got some time, but these laps are ticking. As we see Chuck Sweeting now trying to make a run here on the outside with Casey McMullen right behind him, trying to get around the 7 of Wayne Grassy.
Right, 16 laps to go in the Talladega 250. Chuck Sweeting going to clear the number 7 temporarily on the top side. Let's see if he makes that run to the bottom. That outside, though, seems to have so much more speed. I know it's safe to go to the bottom, but right now, that outside with that speed, I don't know if I would want to give that lane up at this time.
I'm thinking the same thing, and it's kind of, you're wondering, does Chuck Sweeting have that great of a, that car is just that fast up front here with the open air, or is Wayne Grassy not really had that car? So right now, it's showing some power, and that 24 is still looking, Jeremy. Stephen Llewellyn, he wants to go somewhere, and he's getting antsy. You can see him. He jumps up to the high side, jumps back down to the low side, so he wants to get up there, but they're still holding strong on that outside of 3. I'm impressed with that.
I really feel like he knows who's in front of him, all teammates, so he knows he's not going to be able to do anything to get to the front unless he has to go to the high side or just based off a mistake. And right now he makes that jump to the top, trying to get the draft from the 18 to Brian Bliss. He's going to suck in there, make it a 4-car battle on the top side lane. Everybody else still at the moment going to hold single file on the bottom. But yeah, when that 24 gets to that back bumper of the 18 and that high side, 2 cars, the 71 and 75 are clear of the 7. That's just impressive. How many cars are on the bottom and how much slower are they than just a few cars on the top? It's almost a commonplace anymore on iRacing to see it with these super speedways. But right now that top side is just doing so much work. It's all 4 cars able to clear the bottom lane.
I honestly don't know if Wayne Grassy just doesn't have the car to be out front or not, Jeremy, because Wayne Grassy right there, as we're speaking of him, he actually goes down, got a little loose coming for him. I'm not sure if he got a little contact there with Brody Hanna behind him, but that's going to drop him all the way back to the end of this little lead pack here. That was from 3rd place, so I think he's going to end up being about 14th or so, Jeremy.
Hell of a save by Wayne Grassy, and it looked exactly like the 99 Matty Watkins from earlier on when he came up and wrecked with the 17. This time he was able to just avoid the 24's rear bumper and save it on the apron area. Hell of a job here. We're going to get an onboard shot, or at least a shot of the number 7 making that amazing save here. Here is helmet cam all day, just loose, a little correction, not much wheel movement needed. That apron kicked him back going straight. Awesome wheel control. Keeps it going though, which is the main part. Did drop outside the draft, unfortunately, but excellent save.
Yeah, and that when he cut down too, the 24 lost all of his drafting help there, and the Fury Motorsports cars were able to get around him there on the outside, but his way back up. He was sitting there 9th place, I would say, on that time around, and now he's back up in 4th in that groove, and they're still powering. This high side, Jeremy, has just got the momentum right now. We see the Fury Motorsports on the bottom side, so if any team's going to give him a battle there, it's going to be that team right there. But Chuck Sweeting, Casey McMullen, and the 18 there, Brian Bliss, are just...
Yeah, I think that took the method of the 7 maybe holding up the inside out of the equation here, because you got probably the fastest team overall leading the charge on the bottom, and they have nothing for 4 cars, all different team members, working together with all 3 different manufacturers, still maintaining the top lane. It almost looks like the inside line just chokes up these next-gen cars a little too much. And with that little extra amount of momentum and speed on the middle and top lane, these next-gen cars kind of excel.
We saw right there the 24, Wu Allen went to the low side. They jumped in front of the Fury Motorsports, and as he went low, they went high. So that leaves him down the bottom there, and he's going to be stuck on the bottom, Jeremy. Everyone sees the speed on the high side. That's going to push the 24, Wu Allen, back. He might actually fall back outside this pack. He needs to make sure he doesn't lose this draft. We know he's new to the league, so that could have something to play as far as his drafting, not really running with him too much. But that's a big hit for him, Jeremy. He was running up with this group, and everyone just kind of left him there on the low side.
11 laps to go, and this is the first time you've seen it, 84 laps in, that the momentum shift entirely has moved to the top end of the racing surface. We saw it with the 4-car packs all night long, but now they finally realized that that's where the speed's at, and you see almost every single car out there on the top. That just blows my mind, Ken.
Yeah, it does. I mean, you could see the shift there. And look in that back there, the 24, Jeremy, he's not happy. He's coming. You saw him there. He was on the high side. He tried to pass a couple guys, got all the way up to Tony Solari's door and dropped back. He wants to be in a move. And look at him. He's going up to the high side. He's going to be trying to make some moves. He's definitely not enjoying that. He just went from about third place back to, I think he's sitting, let me take a look here. Sorry. I think about outside the top 10. Yeah, 11th place right now. So,
yeah, I mean, so what I think he needs to do is that inside line is going to get back up and moving. It's going to happen. We just don't know when and who's going to be leading the way. So my early predictions is try to lead that bottom lane. Try to do something on there. You see Richie Coy doing it right now, trying to get something to go. You just got to try it, man. Because that's an open lane and the top side looks like it's congested at the most part with the 75 and the 71 low. And. Papala nice down save. Low. Excellent save there by the 89s. We're going to get another angle of that one. Excellent save there by Mr. Papala. See exactly what happened there, but it looks like might have been a little bit of a bundle up there. Exiting turn number 4.
Yeah, that was an excellent save there as he came down, and I thought he was going to have some issues, but great save as we see here on their TV. Just a little sideways, straighten up. Gonna lose the draft there on that one, but hey, he was able to collect the car. And we got, looks like we have a wreck here on the backstretch. I think that's Richie Coy that I saw there, and Kenneth Schultz. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but as I was looking back, I could see, we still got some cars wrecking on the backstretch.
Caution is out, second time this evening on lap number 86, and you are correct. Richie Coy gets turned. Actually, it's the third time this evening that turn number 2 is self-spun a car. This time, Richie Coy, as you're going to see right here, right in front of his teammate, Tony Solari. There's something going on with this weather, this wind, because you see him right here just fine, all of a sudden just whoop, gone left. Third time we've seen it. Thankfully, he didn't come all the way across the track. He's able to maintain it right in his lane, essentially, and not get hit. So, for your points leader to wreck, that's the best way you want to do that.
Yeah, that was a great save by him. That could have been bad, especially with the guys coming back, and he's able to keep it down off the track, and luckily not have anyone hit him, so he's going to come down pit road. And Jeremy, we got 8 laps to go, so I think we might be seeing a little pit strategy going on, seeing how many laps they have left. And the guys towards the back are definitely going to be coming in because they have nothing to lose. So we'll see what happens with this front group.
Yeah, I mean, I think fuel's good. I think they're going to be going on fuel. This track typically doesn't use tires. So do you make a pit stop with teammates just to get with a teammate? Do you stay out? Do you feel like you need to shift more weight to the rear to get the spoiler out of the air by putting a little bit more gas in? There's a lot of different situations that could potentially happen here on this stop, but I know tires typically aren't in effect here.
Yeah, no, definitely don't need to worry about the tires. It's just that fuel and kind of see where everyone goes. And like you mentioned earlier, you're going to have a little bit of difference depending on if you've been out front most of the race or kind of sitting back there, not full throttle. So see what happens. We're going to have Chuck Sweeting with Case McMullen and that Brian Bliss, those 3 that have been leading that high side pack. They're going to be kind of broken up here as we come back to this restart. And Brody Hanna, Jeremy, sitting there in 4th place, and the newcomer, Stephen Wu Allen, sitting in 5th.
Wayne Grassi and Richie Coy, the 2 yellow cars, 2 of the 3 rather, making their way down pit road. Of course, the 19 to get 4 fresh set of Goodyear tires. Wayne Grassi maybe wants to make one more change before this thing is all done. I was going back and I was kind of looking at the data from the 19 getting loose off of turn number 2 myself, and it's just the car turns so heavy so quick right at that same exact point the 99 did. I don't know. I think it's a combination of it being over so 100 degrees on the racing surface and double-digit crosswinds here going from west to east. As soon as they get to that part of the track, I just feel like, they hit that wall of air and it just shoves the cars loose because they are at the same time are decreasing in banking. They're going from 31 degrees down to about, 18 or 15 or whatever it is on the back stretch. So, those kind of combinations could be playing a factor.
Yeah, there's definitely all these different circumstances. You kind of have different fuel that's going in there as well. Kind of step back out, but we saw collect a couple of them. And Richie Coy, there's two tails. You have Maddie who went sliding and tried to correct it and ended up taking the outside wall out, and then Richie just kind of came around and was able to keep it down low and keep it going. So, tail of two tapes on that one.
And while we're under caution, I'd like to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors this time. Martin Sports, home of the sim gloves of all sim racing. They have the fastest turnaround in the business when you customize any order, or if you're just ordering any shirts, hoodies, or hats, gloves, anything that's in their apparel lineup. Which, to check out their full apparel lineup, you can go to that website link on your screen, martinsports906.com, and that white box with green text says Super Nerd. You're going to want to use that at checkout. 25% off everything that you purchase from Martin Sports.
That's a good amount there, 25% off.
Oh, huge. No, I don't think, at least in my knowledge, almost any company that I shop with does not offer 25% off just openly. So, crazy discount just given out to anybody. I don't think there's going to be a lucky dog, Ken. Steve Loomis's first car, 5 laps down, might have been the 33. And he's still sitting back there too. I don't think there's any official lucky dog, but if there is, we'll get you to you. But it's going to set up for our crazy 6-lap shootout.
I believe, we might have 5 to go when we're coming around right now, so we should have about 5 to go on the green flag. So it'll be good to see because, like we mentioned just now after that caution there, you got those 3 that have been working together on the outside. They're going to be split up, so that puts Casey McMullen and Brody Hanna up on that high side, Jeremy, which we know has all the momentum tonight. But another one I want to keep an eye on, Jeremy. Look back there is that 19 and the 51, Brandon Elder and Richie Coy. We know Brandon Elder's been a good pusher, and Richie Coy's been up front all night. So we'll see if those two can hook up and see if they can make a little push here with 5 to go.
I know Richie's got that car to do it, but right now he's only 4 spots ahead of the guy who's wrecked out already. That's only 3 points behind him of Ryan Hedrick. Shout out to our producer Dustin once again, kind of bringing in some extra stats of these why these cars might be spinning out on turn number 2. If you've noticed, it's been later in the run. You've seen these cars get loose, and that's probably because of the light ass end of these cars with the fuel kind of moving around, sloshing around in the back, and with that heavy transition, no weight plus a heavy wind coming off the corner, could be posing some next gen issues with crosswind. I guess this is a little beginning to that story because I'm just learning about this, and it's happened 3 times, which on iRacing you don't see often, where 3 cars self spin at your NASCAR's longest track here on Ovalside.
Yeah, it's definitely something's playing a factor, and we're starting to nail it down, I think, and it would be kind of combination of everything, like I said, with the fuel sloshing around or the wind gust that's coming off of 2 there. Something's definitely playing a factor, but I think we're starting to kind of narrow in on it.
Let's hope we don't see that beast pop up once again. Pace car is coming down this time. They're going to come up to lap number 90. It's going to bring you guys 5 laps of potential green flag action. Let's see who can bring this W home for their team's last super speedway of the season. Just waiting for the 75 to see the iRacing official green flag to come out. You see in your top right-hand side, the iRacing I flag still glowing yellow. Green flag is in the air there. 71 with an excellent start, matching the 75. And now we got 2 little tandems here with the 18 and 23 leading the front cars entering turn number 1 as they are all just side by side.
Yeah, they're pushing, moving around a little bit in the back there trying to find a lane. But we see 75, though, still having the power on that start. But the 71 with the outside momentum with Brody Hanna right behind him. I expect Brody to give him a nice little shove here, as we can see on Nerd TV. Nice little bump there as those two are just going to rocket past. We'll see what happens with the 71-23, though, if they keep it high or go low.
24 on the bottom had a little bit of a checkup going through the gears, and it cost the top or the bottom lane a little bit of positions here as they all shift to the top to get around that. The 24 goes from 5th to about 10th almost here in just a half a lap. He's trying to regroup and get up there. You see the 18 trying to make a move to the bottom of the 75. Does not happen. It is blocked. And we see the cars scattering all around here as they're coming to 4 to go.
Yeah, and Kenneth Schultz making his way up through this pack as they're all kind of moving around. Richie Coy up on the high side, Jeremy. Richie Coy's going to put it 3 wide as we're going across the start-finish line. He's got Sherwood up there right behind him. He's trying to make a run up here as well. So 2 wide, and a little bit of 3 wide back there.
He's trying to make up all that ground he can in a short amount of time. There are still 3 wide. Gil Gawk in the middle. Brian Bliss to his inside. We see Sherwood Williford in that orange 33 going to the back bumper, the 19 with Wayne Grassy. Trying to make some momentum happen as there are 3 cars now on the 3rd row.
They're trying to make that top 3rd row work there, Jeremy, but I just don't think it's got momentum. But they're going to need to hook up with this outside lane and see if they can make some processes. We see the outside is just dominating over the inside lane, no matter who's down there. Casey McMullen and Brody Hanna are just pushing the momentum with Kenneth Schultz. We see the 24 jumping up there as well. He's going to be hung out to dry, Jeremy, as I think he might be coming down as we see the 37 actually following line on the inside there. Oh, a little bit of contact there, I believe, with the 2 of Shoemaker.
4 wide temporarily with the 57 of Josh Johnson leading the way on the very top side of the track. Just barely squeezes
contact.
in. Here we go.
Hard
Big
hit.
wreck here. 57 just barely misses making a wreck. And then right behind him, we saw several cars get turned around to 37. Brian Dublé. Looks like Chuck Sweeting in the 75 also on the bottom of turn number 2, and one with his teammate Gil Gawk. Both Gator Racing cars. Heavy damage involved in this one with 3 laps to go.
Chuck was just leading the way just a few laps ago, and now he's caught up in that. And we saw it was kind of building up. They were going 3 wide, 4 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide, and ultimately I think it's just a little bit too tight there, and a hard hit on the outside wall there for the 37, and barely collected. Gil Gawk actually barely got a hold of Chuck there, as we see here on their TV.
It just looked like tight racing there on the bottom 2 cars. Looks like the 11 of Tony Solari slightly came up. At the same time, it looked like maybe Brian Dublé in the 37 came down just a notch, and they kind of met in the middle. And then shot him up the track and caused that mayhem there with, it looks like, 4 total cars involved if you count the 11 with that incident. And this will bring us to our one and only green-white checker of the night to get this thing squared away.
Yeah, and that's going to put Case McMullen still in the lead here. That's going to put him on the inside and Brody Hand on the outside. That could have been what Brody needed there to kind of get that caution. So he's going to be starting on the outside, which has been the preferred lane these last about 30, 40 laps or so. He's going to have Josh Johnson right behind him pushing his way. So we'll see. Kenneth Schultz, though. Jeremy, what a great run Kenneth Schultz made there as everyone's kind of moving for position on the high side. That put him in 3rd place on this restart we're going to have.
And get another great angle of this wreck here. And yeah, you're not wrong. A couple guys are making some huge moves. You see right now the 75's angle just got collected by the number 1, shoved up into his teammate there, Gil Gawk, and heavy incident into the outside wall in the middle 1 and 2. But yeah, that number 91 made some crazy moves there to put himself P number 3. Is going to be starting row number 2 on the inside line for this green-white checker. And he's got that 24 who's super hungry. He's going to be starting right behind him in 5th. And we'll see. Little tandem of Ford Mustangs going to be leading the charge here on the bottom.
Yeah, it'll be. And then we got right on the outside, got Chevy leading the way, a bunch of Mustangs, and then a couple more Chevys. So is that Richie Coy sitting back there in 6th spot? Is that what I just saw? I was kind of looking through the field. Yeah, Richie Coy made his way all the way back up to 6th place, Jeremy. So he's not counting himself out of this one. He's going to see if he can get up there with Brody and see what they can do.
17th to 6th in a matter of 3 laps that was. So you saw him digging on that 3rd row, just moving with just a couple guys. Kenneth Schultz was one of them, I do believe. Wayne Grassy was another. I think Sherwood Williford as well. Just kind of creating their own line, and it worked. Moved them up over 10 spots in just a short amount of time. So if he can recreate that just one more time for another 2 laps, might be sitting in a podium spot.
And that's exactly what he's looking to do. I mean, like you said, just great move all around, and we'll see what kind of fans out. I mean, we saw what happened just a matter of a couple laps on that restart. So we had Chuck Sweeting, who was looking like he was sitting pretty, and then all fails going into 1 and 2 there a couple laps later. So This thing's not over until it's over. It's unfortunate with Talladega. You could be leading the way all the way to the tri-oval, and you can end up in about 15th spot. So
Absolutely. Chuck Sweeney was one of those guys who ran top 5 half the night, and then now he's retired and going to be finishing P19, actually P18, when the checker flags fly. So anything that happened just like that. We've seen 3 cars self-spin without any warning. Again, snap of a finger, your night goes from great to bad. So especially tonight, there's a lot of different scenarios that we haven't seen typically at a super speedway that could, even affect here in the next couple laps.
yeah, it's gonna be a good show. I'm excited for it. It's unfortunate it's only one green white checkered, but that's also adding a little bit more excitement because you have one shot at it, one opportunity. So you're gonna try to make the most out of it and see if you can either one hold on up front. If you're looks like Casey's actually going to be taking the outside here, which is a great call if you ask me, because I think that's where that momentum is going to be. So that's going to put Brody there on the inside.
It's going to make Ford Mustangs all the way through the bottom here until you get back to Wayne Grassy. I think, Kenny, this is a good time to try to bring in our race leader. We got one lap of caution to go. I think Case McMullen might be a good guy to talk to, so we're going to try to bring him in here to the booth. Mr. Case McMullen, you're in the booth near TV. How's it going out there?
Oh, it's going great. How you doing?
Doing great, man. It's you got one lap left. I don't want to hold you up. I just wanted to get a quick thoughts on this green-white checker. That middle line has been pretty solid the back half of the race. I see you chose the top line. You think that's where the winning move is going to be?
We'll see here. It's Talladega. Anything can happen. You just got to have some friends, and we'll see if we have any tonight.
All right, man. Good luck out there. Hopefully we'll be talking to you in just a few short minutes.
We'll see it. Yep, hopefully.
All right, good luck out there. And that was Case McMullen, driver of the number 71 Blackwater Products USA Chevrolet Camaro, and that dark blue and orange numbered machine. We haven't seen ones jump on the top side for the restart. This is the first time, but as we've seen the back half of this race, Kenny, it's definitely the way to be.
Yeah, that's where the momentum's at too. So, looking at this group here, I'm trying to see if there's any teammates really that's going to be together on this one. I don't think so. I don't see anyone that's going to be back to back. I mean, you can make some moves here and find a teammate, but really, let's be honest. We have a green white checkered. You got some teammates, but you really don't have teammates. Kind of, all for yourself at that point, or at least if you're going to be with a teammate, you're going to have a good finish. So, kind of be a free for all here.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how Richie Coy can get back to the bottom, get that Fury Motorsports going. The Blackwater machine there, and that number 71. Let's see if he can just kind of hold his spot. Maybe figure out something. He doesn't have any friends up there with him, so his teammate, just the 17 was wrecked out early on, and so there's a couple guys that got some moves to make. Maybe just kind of hold your spot. Hopefully, you got good friends out there. You got the 57 and that Chevrolet of Josh Johnson. Maybe he can up there and push him to the win. We'll see. Even just a couple of cars. Yeah, the 24 as well. We'll see here. We're coming up to the last green-white checker restart here. 71 going to be leading the way. Let's see how well Brody Hanna can match this restart, because I think this is going to be key to get that inside line rolling as to how well you can restart. Green flag is out for the final time. 71 with an excellent launch here with the 57 coming up to him, and the 19's got 2 corners to match that energy to try to keep him up to the front.
Yeah, great.
He goes up high.
Yeah, Richie Coy making that high side run. He's trying to get that momentum. Richie Coy is coming with strong. We saw he had a strong car as we see Case McMullen there, Will sideways, but he had a strong car all day. So we got a great run here by Richie Coy, Jeremy. He's down the back. Let's see if he can get in front of his teammate here, Brody Hanna. As we see, Brody's actually swelling up there on the bottom side.
3 wide and actually 4 wide for a short period of time as they are going down the back stretch. Still 3 wide. Richie Coy to the race lead, dips to the bottom, secures the lead temporarily. That's going to bring Sherwood Williford to the front spot on the high line here. 71 shifted back to 4th or 5th as they are still 3 wide 3.
This is, all around great battling that we're having on the high side, low side. You got the 24 coming. You got to see the 89 swooping down to the inside. He's going to be taking the lead here as we come to 1 to go. You see Shane Papala going to take that lead from Sherwood Wilford as we got the white flag, Jeremy, heading to turn 1.
Shane Papala, one of those guys that saved off a turn number 2 without any incident, and right now he is leading the charge on the bottom. half a lap left to settle out the Talladega 250. They are 3 wide for the race lead. Sherwood Williford takes the lead temporarily in that middle line.
got a
heavy
wreck.
contact, 89.7 up in the air. Quite a few cars. Green flag is still out. No caution. A lot of cars wrecked. We'll see who does this. Looks like the 18 and 71 are hooked up really nice. Maybe the 57 gets a run off the corner. Let's see what happens here. 18 leading the way. Casey McMullen, let's see if he backs it up a little bit, which he does. Try to get some draft. I don't think it's going to be enough. Looks like Brian Bliss and that Lone Ranger Toyota Camry is going to get this thing done as they go side by side. Brian Bliss wins Talladega 250.
Yeah, that was a good finish there. We had Sherwood Wilford round out that top 3. We saw the 18 and the 71 working great together tonight, and they go on the show at 1-2 right there.
Crazy finish there. We'll have to go back and look at all those angles from that massive wreck there on the last lap on the backstretch. That took out a crazy amount of fast drivers. It was bound to happen. They were 3x3 and racing and moving around, and it might have been a bad bump from the 2 of Rob Shoemaker into the number 7, because that 7 did come down in a real hurry.
Yeah, and you saw the 2 there. He just caught air and went completely airborne. So what a hit that he had there. And that took out a bunch. Yeah, as we see right there on our TV, just straight up in the air. And what a great move by Wayne Allen. Did you see that there on the inside? They avoid Shane and get right back up on the track.
I did not see everything that was going on. I was kind of focused the lead. I saw Richie Coy get heavy impact to the inside wall. It's kind of pimping his night. Finishing 13th after that run to back to the lead. You're going to see Wayne Grassie's bumper right here. Just heavy bump. Throws him to the inside. There goes Richie. And then all hell just ensues right there.
Yeah, it just broke loose and had everyone go crazy there. But you know who came out the best of that one? There was that front pack there, Brian Bliss. So that's gonna, be a great win for him. First one on the season. He was sitting back there about 17th in points. So this is a great run for him. First win of the season. Can't go wrong with that.
No, he's made 2 less starts than everybody out here. At least the ones that have made the full season. And yeah, first win in the books for him at Talladega. Can't complain there. It's going to move him up a couple spots, and not going to be enough for the championship, obviously, but some bragging rights here. Putting on a pretty good average amount of points for only 7 races in. And Lane Allen, we're going to see a good shot from Lane Allen as well on this replay from this wreck. Going through here, we see the bump happen right there. Everyone starts to wreck. See the number 2, somehow the roof flaps are up as he's still going forward. Not sure how that works physics-wise. Excellent drive by the 14 to go just underneath the 89. Crazy move there, as you said, Kenny. Just awesome job avoiding that wreck.
Yeah, that was a good move overall, and that helped him too, because getting around that's gonna move Wayne Allen up to that 8th spot. So that was a great move overall. And speaking of 8th, we'll go ahead and run down through this order here of the finishing. So first win of the season we mentioned, Brian Bliss is going to come home with your victory. Casey McMullen, who has been pushing Brian the whole day, is going to come home in 2nd place. So great run for him. Sherwood Wilford is going to sit there in 3rd position. 4th is going to be Josh Johnson. 5th is going to be Stephen Wu Allen. 6th is Brody Hanna. 7th is going to be Tony Solari. 8th, Wayne Allen. 9th is Brandon Elder. And round out your top 10, Kenneth Schultz.
11th place is going to be that 7, Wayne Grassie. 12th place, Kevin Rupert. 13th is ended up to be Richie Coy. 14th, Rob Shoemaker. 15th place, Shane Papala, who was leading the last lap and ends up in that wreck, unfortunately. 16th place will be Gil Galt. Everybody else is 1 or more laps down. 17th place, Brian Dublé. 18th place, Chuck Sweeting. 19th place, Steve Loomis. Rounding out your top 20, James Wallace. 21st place, you will find Ryan Hedrick. 22nd, Chris Beck. And Matty Watkins rounds out tonight's field in 23rd place. And Kenny, that's going to bring us to the Martin Sports post-race show. Presented by, of course, Martin Sports, where we're going to try to get in all the drivers here that deserve to be in talks to. That is Sherwood Williford, Case McMullen, and Brian Bliss. Let's see if these guys are out of their cars and able to have an interview with us here. Sometimes it takes a second to get them all out of the car, especially at a huge 2.66 mile super speedway. Looks like we got Sherwood available. Bring him in here. Mr. Sherwood Williford, you got a copy?
Yeah, man.
Hey, congratulations on that podium finish in third place. What a wild last lap. Walk us through, man, how you got to third.
A lot of luck. Got caught a lap down there early. Pitted, slipped in my pit stall. Had to repit, and I was a lap down. Got the lucky dog. Just had some draft partners there coming up through the field. It was it was wild for sure.
Yeah, we saw you making a run there on the high side quite a bit, a few times there, and it definitely paid off as y'all had the momentum and you were able to carry that away to the third, place. And hey, coming out of even top 10, top 5 at Talladega, but third place, I mean, that's a heck of a run here at Talladega. Nothing to be mad about on that one.
Yeah, I probably could have blocked some a little bit there on that last lap or going to the white flag, but all you're gonna do is get wrecked doing that. So I just held my line and took what I could get.
There's a crazy amount of positions that were transferred over in just a few short laps, and you're able to come off that top three. No matter what you did, though, congratulations on finding the podium tonight. Anybody out there watching on Nerd TV that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Teammates, Blackwater. I mean, the guys are awesome. We have a good time. Come up with a good set and had fun. That showed.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, congratulations once again. Go ahead and celebrate with your Blackwater Motorsports teammates and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
That was third place, Mr. Sherwood Williford. That means we're going to bring in Casey McMullen, who did finish second place this evening. Casey, got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, we talked to you before we went green, and you found podium still after that complete chaos there on the final restart. Just how'd you keep it, man? You had a good restart there, and then there was a bunch of positions changed. You fell back to fifth or sixth, and you zoomed your way back up to second. How'd you get up there?
Oh, well, we needed some friends, and I found one. I found Biggie and Brandon there after all the scrambling around. That I figured I'm going to push Biggie up there, and knew we had a chance because the third line works really well after we're three wide. So this guy started wrecking, and I just kept on pushing Biggie. I didn't want anybody else to get a shot at it, so I was happy with second.
Yeah, you could see you two definitely had the team work that you had going on there between you and Brian there, and just powered your way on the outside. I mean, at one point in time, I think you were able to get 5 car lengths on that inside lane. So the outside was the way to go. Did you? I see that you started the restart on the outside. You felt like that was the move to make as well, I believe.
Yeah, I didn't want to get stuck down there on the inside line. I hate the inside line, so I took my chances on the outside. A little bit more control, a little bit more ways out than on the bottom, just closed in.
And one more question before we get you out of here tonight and celebrate with your team. We had 3 drivers that self-spun on the exit of turn number 2. I just want to get your thoughts. Did you feel anything in your car later into a fuel run that tempted your car to maybe get loose and spin out as well?
I had tried a setup that was terrible off of turn 2. It just go without warning. So there's definitely that out there, but we found something else, and it was really solid.
Awesome, man. Well, congratulations once again. Second place finish at Talladega 250. Anybody out there at Nerd TV World that's watching you'd like to get a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, Steve Berry and Blackwater Products USA. They help us out a lot. Everybody here at the league, you guys in the booth, all my teammates for the help, and wife, the kids, thank God, and congrats to Biggie.
Awesome, man. Yeah, congratulations once again. Go ahead and celebrate with the team.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome. That was your second place finisher, runner-up Casey McMullen for tonight's Talladega's event. And that's going to leave one person left, Mr. Brian Bliss. See if we can grab a word with him. Mr. Brian, you got a copy?
I got you.
The only Toyota out there in the Ford, and you somehow brought it home. P number 1. Very nice job. Congratulations on the win, man. I love, especially at Super Speeders, trying to get the driver's perspective on the last lap, especially when it's crazy like that. How did you find yourself P1?
I have no idea. I just told the guys I was going 3 wide on the restart, and I didn't figure I was going to win, but I figured I could push one of them to a win.
Yeah, we saw that you and Casey. I was just telling Casey that you two hooked up pretty good today, and were leading the top line there, and had the power. I mean, you were 5 car lengths or so more on the inside lane. And do you feel like that outside was just the best way for you to make this win possible and kind of keep up there with the lead pack?
Yeah, because the bottom lane wasn't passing too well.
Yeah, it looked like it was kind of getting checked up a lot in the outside lane, but great run. That's your first win of the season as well. So, great overall finish there on that one and pull out the first win of the season for you.
Yeah, I really wish it wasn't at Daytona and Talladega, but I'll take it.
Yeah, take anything where you can at this point, right, man? But yeah, anyone out there at Nerd TV that's watching potentially that you'll love to give a shout out to?
I'm not sure. I think Steve's watching.
Well, shout out to Steve out there. But yeah, go ahead and celebrate, man. Congratulations once again.
Thanks.
That was Brian Bliss, the winner of tonight's Talladega 250. Ken, that's going to bring us to about 3 races left, if I'm not mistaken, in the schedule. And everything's different from this point forward.
Yeah, that's going to bring us. We're going to have Dover next week, then Darlington, and follow it up with Kansas. So a little change in variety, the Monster Mile, and then we're going to go get a stripe there at Darlington and finish it off at Kansas. Hopefully, don't see Toto and have a tornado or anything like that. But it's going to be a great end of the season here, and the trucks are the same way, starting on Wednesday.
Now, I would have loved if iRacing had brought the weather out by then. At this point, maybe we could find a tornado out there. Don't know if that's actually in their template of weather, but you never know what iRacing has cooking up. But yeah, just a good schedule. I love Dover. And of course, Darlington's a really tough track, hence the name Too Tough to Tame. And then Kansas to round it out, which, the progressive banking of that track, it's produced a lot of fun. And, something we really haven't seen the next gen cars tackle yet. So kind of curious about that. But that's it, Ken. I think it's going to bring it close tonight. We got to thank some sponsors real fast before we get on out of here. Again, thank you, Full Throttle Sim Racing, for letting us do this for you 2 nights a week, Monday and Wednesdays. We have re-signed for the second season for Nerditudes over on the Wednesday series in the Sim Racing Points Truck Series. So stay tuned with that. It'll be a couple weeks off, I think, most, and then we'll bring the action back to you every Wednesday at 9 p.m. So thank you, Full Throttle Sim Racing, for letting us do this. Sign up. New series going to be starting up here next month. If you want to run in a full season worth of points, try to win for that championship, better go over to FTSR.net and sign up. And then Sim Racing Points, just that all-inclusive league points management system you need as an admin. You're going to go to simracingpoints.com, check out their pricing plan, see what they have for offer to your guys' leagues. And then a quick thank you to Martin Sports, martinsports906.com. You super nerd at checkout, 25% off. You grab yourself a t-shirt, hoodie, or hat, or whatever is on their apparel lineup. Once again, martinsports906.com. And then iRacing iFlag, official flag partner of Nerditudes, to bring all the flags and the indicators directly to your sim rig. You go to iRacingIFlag.com. You super nerd for checkout for 15% off anything in your shopping cart. And then thebuttkicker.com, home of the Gamer 2 unit at the Nerditudes headquarters. Brings all the bumps and feels that you need from the sim rig directly to your seats. One of a kind product. Go to thebuttkicker.com. Nerd TV at checkout, 20% off anything in your shopping cart. And a quick shout out as well to Nerd Focus, the official energy provider for Nerditudes. 2 flavors. You super nerd at checkout, 10% off of either one. Find them at nerdfocus.com. And then Moonlight Speed Concepts, asphalt setup provider for Nerditudes. It's going to be moonlightspeed.com. And then on the dirt side, houseofspeed.us. They're going to do all your professional setups on the asphalt and the dirt side. All right, that's going to bring us to a close for this Monday night. So you're going to catch us again Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern as we see these guys tackle Dover in the Truck Series. Until then, you guys stay safe out there. And remember to hashtag get your nerd on. And there's Dustin waving by as well.
Later, nerds.